Pretty standard procedure, it seems, from this format.
Do you know why you think that is? Is it just because picking themselves up after the first loss?
Yeah, must be.
It's Craig again, bowls another decent Yorker full
Nice.
length, straight back at the bowl, and he picks up comfortably. No run once again. I think it was 6 for 1 at the end of the second over. And in terms of Cambridgeshire now, what will James Williams be very disappointed, gutted really. He spoke a lot in pre-season about really wanting to do well in these white ball formats and reaching finals day, but hasn't been able to do so. And comes Craig again.
Oh, yes, inside the 5-putt. That is going to hurt.
And
don't rub it.
Didn't really get up. Shorter pitch ball in at the 5-pad. A big swing and a miss. And it's a good over so far for Craig.
Terrible day for the air show.
I didn't expect you to be talking about ducks, didn't I?
Oh, I can hear it, you just can't see it.
Yeah, so Connor Craig, to continue his over. In now, bowls.
Oh, Chinese cut.
It's inside edge down into the leg side, behind square. Sam Rippington doing the fielding. Just 1 run taken. Yeah, Marilia out for 4, caught by Rob Sayer, bowled, it says by Harrison Craig, but it was Sam Rippington on here. So the current batsman of the crease, Sam Arthurton and JD Reynolds. Norfolk rebuilding after losing that early wicket. In comes Craig again.
Oh, Nick.
It's an outside edge.
I might go.
Heard that by Nick, and it has gone away for 4. Past the third man, Sam Rippington. It brings up a boundary for Norfolk. They're 10 for 1.
Yeah, wet ball, no good there either. Outfield's likely. It does drain quickly here, but likely to be a little bit damp still, so that ball's going to be nice and slippery. Get the towels on it.
And it's been a really good over, really tight over from Craig before that point. Very unlucky, really, to see it nick outside of it and go down towards the boundary. In comes Craig again, full of length.
Oh, hit him, Tim. Oh.
Hit down towards mid-on. Tim Moses downstairs, a clean pickup and a shot the stumps would have been very close, but a bit of a fumble and the batsman get home for a single. End of the over, I believe that's 11 for 1 off, 12 for 1 off.
Ripper can't get his jumper off quick enough there. Jumper's off, that means I'm bowling.
Eager to bowl. Not surprised after a brilliant opening over for him.
Big Tim trots his way down to the third man boundary. Knees are chilly.
Shins are chilly in those 3 quarters, he said. In comes Rippington now. Long bounding run up in left arm.
Full bunger.
Full toss, and
ouch.
Rob Sayer is flicking his hands in pain there. He must have clipped his hand and was rolled up his body.
Cheers, Rips.
And,
weather's got colder. That's the last thing you want when the temperature's dropped significantly. Stinger with a hard white ball is not what you want.
Not pleasant at all from Rob Sayer. Already been involved a bit, taking the catch for the first wicket of this innings. Rippington in again.
Ooh.
Good length that time.
Oh, this could be very close.
And Craig's in as a shot.
Oh.
I think he was just in the end, potentially.
Oh, that was close.
Very tight. Is that Connor Craig going for the have a shot at the stumps there?
Was.
And
for the first time today we get it right.
Good length ball, sort of nudged down towards them on this offside. And a risky single, but they've got in. 2 men out of the minute. Callum Guest sweeping on the leg side. And Harrison Craig down. Peak back with square leg. And Rippington comes in again.
Oh,
big swing.
Ooh, he's got away with that.
And a miss. Straight through to Josh Bowers. Wicket beyond the stumps.
Seems a little bit dead this second game at the minute.
A non-event because of the situation?
Slightly, yeah. Slightly it feels a little bit at the minute. Probably means more to Norfolk than to Cambridgeshire, but there's not much buzz really. It looks a little bit flat is the word I'm looking for.
And how much of this side will play in that 50-over competition?
A lot. It'll be almost man for man, I would say. Yeah, pretty much man for man.
In comes Sam Rippington. Bowls.
Oh,
It's
that's
a
a good
full
shot.
length ball, and it's gone for 6.
It's a lovely,
lovely
shot.
shot.
Oh, what a catch as well by that man.
And a crowd
Brilliant
catch.
grab.
Dropped the dog lead and caught the ball.
Brilliant. Sign him up.
Connor Craig
We've
was
got
put
4
out on
teams
this.
here.
Connor Craig was put out on this leg side boundary, but went well evaded him.
Yeah, that's a
over the
cracking
rope
shot.
at 6.
Cracking shot.
Sam Ripton in again. They're looking for a response after the last ball going for 6 in bowls.
Oh.
This could be going towards him. Connor Craig exactly down his throat, and it's a wicket for Sam Ripton. He gives the Norfolk batsman a bit of jip as well by the looks of it. And it's another wicket for Sam Rippington in Cambridgeshire.
Poor shot, really. Bit unnecessary. Got one out on the leg side. You've already hit a big mixer. Do you need to do it again? Possibly not. But if it's up, it's out. If it's up, it's out.
So Rippington in the wickets. Didn't have a great game in the first match, but already on the way to having a good one in this second one. 2 early wickets for him, 2 early wickets for Cambridgeshire. And early wickets in the first match, in the first innings. Early wickets in the second match in the first innings.
Slightly different circumstances, it has to be said. Different modes of dismissal in this game as opposed to the first. That was pretty much an error from the batsman. But yeah, good start for Cambridgeshire. Good start.
19 for 2 after 3 overs.
So Cambridgeshire picking up a second wicket. Sam Rivington well in the wickets. How many wickets has he got for minor cases? Must have loads if he's played a few.
8,448. No, he's not got that much.
The spearhead of this Cambridgeshire attack, and for bowling Lexing on a Saturday, and he comes now with his tail up, holds good length
that's a
ball.
good ball.
That's a good ball.
That's a
Straight
proper
through
ball.
to Josh Bowers, and the Norfolk batsman looks at the pitch and then mimes the shot that he felt he should have played. Josh Bowers trundling off towards us here to pick up his helmet. Looks like Cambridgeshire will be bringing on a spinner, and it is Rob Sayer or Callum Guest. Both have got their cap off towards
Sayer.
the umpire, and it is Rob Sayer. What's the thinking here, Dan?
Change it up. Have a little look at the spinner while they're on the top. Maybe if it looks like it's going to get a bit wetter, get the spinners down before the rain comes down, makes the ball hard to grip maybe. But it seems an obvious change. Spin to win is pretty key in these games.
Yeah, no shorter bowling options. As we discussed earlier, 9 bowlers used in the opening match for Cambridgeshire.
Pretty much everybody bowls apart from Willow now.
And here is Rob Sayer in and flicked by
Oh.
the looks of it for a quick single. So Callum and Josh Buzz almost looked at each other there a bit.
Yeah, shouldn't have been one there really.
It was a leg bite.
It's a bit weak.
And in terms of the field, I think is that Craig Park being sent out on the offside, on the leg side boundary,
To count. Long on back, cow back.
and a ring up on the offside.
Long off up.
Tim Moses,
Jumping
big
Wackass
man
over
to
to-
chip over the ball.
Yep. Imposing
Bit-
character.
Rob Sayer, single off his leg by off his first in bowls, a bit short of a length, punch through the offside straight to Connor Craig. Will they be thinking about the rain at all?
Nah, I don't think so. Just bat. Just bat.
In comes Rob Sayer again.
Good shot.
Slightly flighted this
Lovely
time
shot.
and swept down past Wax Hussain on the leg side. Very fine for 4.
Yeah, cracking shot that. Very, very good shot.
And Rob Sayer's first boundary is conceded. Ball being dried, as you can see there, by James Williams, the skipper. Got a towel. The outfield clearly still wet off that downpour that we had towards the back end of the first match and during the interval. He runs off the towel in his back pocket. In comes Sayer again. Just nudged down
Good.
into the offside.
Very good running. Disappointing.
And a single to Norfolk once again. Is that sort of a lesson to what Marilia should have done in the the outgoing batsman should have done in the Sam Ripton
Yeah.
before? Got the boundary and then nudge a single? in Robertson again, just plodded down to the ground. Back
Yeah, it's a pretty standard model for, or you'd consider a standard model for one day batting is boundary rotate, but if you can hit another 6, it's better than another 1.
In comes Rob Sayer once again. Right arm around. Just once
change of
again,
pace.
play back to him. And that ends it over. Pretty good over. Other than that, one boundary they got hit finally down for 4. And Sam Rivington again very quickly getting that jumper off. Clearly being...
He's up and about. He is up and about. He's got a couple. He is up and about.
The score's 25 for 2.
25 for 2.
It's good to see, though. I'd like to see Rips happy.
He's not a good person when he's moody.
Just is a nice bloke. Deserves to be happy. He's a trier. He's a trier.
Everyone loves a try.
Absolutely.
Here he comes now. After a false start, comes back again and in now and bowls full length, chipped into the offside.
Guess he
Shot over Callum Guest and up through into the offside. That's another boundary for Norfolk.
good shot. Great shot. Just open the face, into out. Again, pretty much a free hit with no one back there. Just got to get it over the infield, and that's always going to be a boundary.
Yeah, great start for Rippington, but gone for a boundary there. Callum Guest is getting himself back up in the ring on the offside. One out on this leg side. Connor Craig, the same man who caught Rippington's last wicket in his last over. In he comes again now. Just back of a length.
Might be.
Oh, he just gone past, I think, Craig Park, but Callum Guest covering well. Just for a single in the offside.
Didn't time it at all. But good rotation again of the strike.
James Williams trying the ball once again. In comes Rippington once again now. Him bounding forward off that long run up in bowls. Good length ball.
Good shot.
That's
Great
a
shot.
On the up and through, cover for 4. Oh,
No, well fielded.
Stop from the fielder.
Ben Seabrook.
Ben Seabrook out here. Plays his cricket at Bury St Edmunds, does Ben?
Does indeed. He's had a good start to the season.
Bit of a controversy on social media, I see, because he left, was it Burn Lexing?
He did. Not one shy of a bit of controversy, Benny. The first to admit that.
Did some great work on the boundary then, saving a couple of runs. In comes Rippington now, bowls, a Yorker length, and looks like wide of off stump, and he has called it a wide. Ooh. Sam didn't seem too happy. Stopped in his run, walked back on the way to the umpire there.
Yep.
Looks to be smiling there.
No great surprise.
So every fielder up inside, 2 fielders outside the ring. Tim Moses down at third man. And Ben Seabrook sweeping on this offside boundary, just to our right here. In comes Rippington again, bowls good.
It's a great shot.
Probably just slightly over-pitched, if anything, but smacked through the offside.
Missed his length there. Missed his length. Far too full. That was one thing Norfolk didn't do first innings of the first game. They did not miss their length. They hit the same length, just back of every single ball, with the exception of a few. But unfortunately, with Cams in the last game, and just then with Rips, just missed his length, too full, and quite easily put away. Just take over. Rips steaming in. Just back of a length. We're going to try and get through for a single. Craig has a shot at the other end. Willow's backing up. Yeah. Quite an easy single in the end. Field changes for the left-hander. Deep cover comes in. Deep backward square goes out. Guesty drops through to sweep at deep cover. Rips turns end of his mark. Quite a long run up for someone of that pace.
Hit straight back to him for another dot ball. Poor Sam.
Good old Rips. I hope he listens back to this.
As we say, we are streaming live on Cambridge 105 Radio's YouTube, so you can watch the game back once the service is complete. Current score 38 for 2 off 5 overs. 6 overs gone now as the score just gets updated. And Rob Sayer is continuing to bowl.
Out of the power play now, so a few more men out.
He comes.
Ooh.
Reverse, wouldn't really say sweep, more paddle.
Reversey Percy.
Yeah. But hit his pad well outside the line. A muted shout from someone in the field. Rob Sayer comes in again for his second ball.
Down.
Oh. Hit straight back to him, but just missed the ball and gone to Tim Moses at deep mid-on. So yeah, outside the power play now. So is it just a case of sort of what the batsmen are thinking now, try and force the boundary a bit more in the gaps and the bigger gaps in the field?
Yeah, no dot balls now. Every good ball's got to be a single. Every bad ball's a boundary. That's how you start to put a score on the board.
Comes Sayer again.
Bold.
More flighted spinner this time, hit more convincingly down to Tim Moses at deep mid-off. Score 39 for 2.
Alcoholic refreshments are kicking in, it seems.
He comes Rob Sayer and flicked off his pad into the leg side to Ben Seabrook. Sweeping on this side, he's come back up in the ring now. The change of handed batsman. Conor Craig staying out here on this offside boundary. 41 for 2. Rob Sayer's in now, bowls. Ooh, just for a reverse sweep and just flick down to Ben Seabrook, who did make his way up into the circle for a single. So again, another tight over from Rob. No boundaries as of yet. But the right-hander now, Rob comes in, slightly quicker delivery. Just played down and solidly defensively. That ends a good over for Rob.
Yep, good over again from Cam. It's been a really good start for them. I think of more than a couple of boundaries. Looks like Harrison Craig just loosen up. Pretty flat, I'd have to say, out here at the minute. Not a lot of chat from Cams.
Yeah, they'll be gutted, won't they, obviously, having lost that first game. The permutations elsewhere and with who plays who to come as well. I mean, they can't qualify for finals day, which they so desperately wanted to do.
Yeah, well, that's the way with this format, that you can have to have situations like this where... Oh, it's not actually... They may have changed the bowl, actually. Callum Guest coming on now, not Harrison, who was marking his run-up out.
Callum Guest on spin to the left-handed Norfolk batsman.
Try and fly through his over here.
Straight back to him for no run. So most of the field is up inside the circle, just behind square, and then you've got men in front of square.
To stop the two here.
Boundary,
He knocked
down the ground, and Rippington just fumble a little bit. They come back for 2. It's a heavily leg-sided field. Currently with 2 men sweeping on this leg side, the looks of it. And then 2 down the ground as well. In comes Callum Guest once again, right arm.
Oh, good shot. Great shot.
Drive on the offside, but into the gap.
Yeah, very good shot. Good use of the foot. Good use of the feet, sorry. Got set before striking it. Picked the gap lovely. Got a short cover in there. Again, just got to get it past him. It's always going to be 4.
Yeah. Probably slight heart in his mouth when it was slightly uppish, but well clear of that short cover for any real danger. For the Norfolk batsman. And Callum Guest in his opening over. First boundary scored off him. In again now. Just sort of flighted slower delivery.
Yeah.
And it is a wide ball. Makes his way back to his mark. Turns around quickly. In he comes now. Bowls. Right arm, quicker delivery. The batsman
it's a
advances.
very good shot.
Lovely shot.
Very good shot.
It's a replica of the one before, but advanced quickly and used his feet well once again, hitting through cover for 4.
Yeah, Kel tried to mix his pace up a little bit there, bowled a quicker one. Didn't seem to matter the batsman at all. Played a super shot.
And he comes again. Oh, just a slow one for him before. Up he comes quickly. And that shot, will the batsman Bootsy be premeditating Callum's pace?
Yeah, it sort of plays into his hands, that shot really being an offie. Bowling to a left-hander, it plays into his playing with the turn.
And again, Callum cuts.
Very good shot.
Off the back foot through the offside. It's a lovely shot and it's gone for 4. It's between gully and backward point, or point and backward point to 4 runs.
Knowing
Expensive
Callum,
over for Callum.
knowing Cal will be absolutely spewing now.
Double teapot, hands on his hips. As he walks up the other end.
To be
Pretty
fair,
quickly.
the 2 that went through cover were very, very good shots. Sometimes you just got to say well played. Last one maybe dropped it a little bit short, but still put it away very, very well. Very well.
So that ends the 8th over. The score is 57 for 2. A flurry of boundaries for Norfolk in the last few overs. I'll hand you over to the next commentary team, Julian Clover and Matt Haig.
Thanks very much. Oh, thank you very much, Ollie, and hello again to Matt up the other end of our little trestle table here. I've noticed over the last few minutes or so, sun's come out, runs are happening.
It does, yeah. I think the conditions are much better for cricket now, much more enjoyable. And obviously with the state of play with this game, I guess not really meaning too much. I think both teams can play a bit more freely now.
So 57 for 2 after 8 overs here.
Young Harrison Craig into the attack now.
It's coming in from the cemetery end. And he goes just, oh, we are going to get a run after all. I thought they were going to not get one on that one, but they have managed to add an additional run to the score. So 58 for 2.
It sounds fine. Good. It sounds fine.
We go again from the cemetery end, and oh yes, that's going to get one. I was wondering if they might come back for a second, but not so. Suffering a bit with my headphones here at the moment. I've managed to knock everything on the floor, so it's not happening at all at the moment. A cable has come out of here, so we'll just post that back in again if we can. There we go, that's better. Still got the same problem I did before, too much echo in the head. Can't be coping with that.
Brilliant shot there from Sam Arthurton, sweeping that one just behind backward square leg for 4 runs.
I think the weather's actually the brightest it's been all day, coming in from the cemetery road end. Bowler tries to attempt a catch, but it's picked up by the fielder behind. This already feels a contrast compared to the previous match.
It does, very, very much so.
And it's lots of different levels. It could almost be on a different day, really. The wind's dropped. Good point. Tony just mentioned the wind had dropped here, which I think that's kind of helping things a little bit as well. And again, then from Cemetery Road end, a bit of a sweep going on there.
And a wicket.
A wicket as well. I thought so. Did he play on there?
No, it's just bowled him around his legs. He's
Right.
just walked across and tried to sweep that and got it all wrong.
Not good at all. So it's another one down then for Norfolk, now on 64 for 3 after 8 overs. This feels like a much more sort of sensible fall of wickets, if you see what I mean, compared
haven't had the clusters.
compared to what we said previously. Not a whole load going down at the start of the innings, which is what happened when
Had the
when
clusters
Cambridgeshire
like we did at the
at
start.
first, yeah. So that's a lot better.
But they've been ticking the scoreboard along, at a decent pace.
Now, there's something going on his nose there. Is that an injury or just sun cream?
No, it's a bit of zinc.
Zinc, just to protect himself from the
do
sun,
now, yeah.
which is quite a sensible thing to do.
I think helps stop a bit of reflection as well. The old zinc does.
I think it was Dominic Cork when he was playing for England, used to put on zinc to the extent that it was sort of like go faster stripes running across his face. So who's coming in now?
So this
then,
is
in which
Matthew
case?
Plater again from Horsford, who's coming, joining Sam Arthurton at the crease, who's going along very nicely.
And there's also murmurings I noticed coming from the pavilion. I don't know if that's the lunchtime refreshment taking hold now, really, isn't it?
Sawston locals are
enjoying it very much.
Enjoying
It's,
the beverages.
in from the new road end bowls, and it's just gone over their fielder, jumping over the ball returning to pick it up and throw back to the bowler, who in this case is
the 7-foot Tim Moses.
our
back.
friend Tiny Tim, isn't he? He's back again.
It is.
I feel obliged to mention a bus as they go by. It's just a shock of seeing any bus at all, really, which is getting to be. In comes Moses then, bowling from the new road end. The ball driven straight back the ground and caught, pleased to report, by a fielder there at that's by the sight screens. One of the cars packed in that direction. I don't know. I guess more than one occasion, a ball is going to end up rolling under one of those cars.
Yeah, it is.
And,
I think they're just far enough back to not be in too much danger.
Yeah, I don't think the auto windscreens will be called out. In comes Moses again. That's another good hefty blows gone behind. A couple of fielders running in to retrieve that, throwing the ball back in. A couple of runs, taking the score to 66 for 3 now in the 9th over. One of the advantages of having semi-television coverage, as one might call it here. We do have a little score graphic up here, which is quite easy to sit down and take a little look at as Moses comes in again, and it's just gently prodded away. And there's no run, so I can actually see what's going on. Which
makes it a lot easier.
it's really strange because I grew up in the era when you could watch the BBC coverage for days and still not know what the score was because there's no graphic on the screen and nobody ever bothered to mention what it was. But these days you get used to so much information going down the bottom of the screen that if you can't see the score, then you're in real trouble. Here comes Moses again. Just, oh, look at that. That one's gone way in the air.
Huge. So brilliant.
It's a 6. Umpire signalling that up. A bit of a chase to go and retrieve that from what looks like to be assorted football nets behind that area there. Do they bring them in when some of the kids come and play and stuff?
Yeah, so during the winter, they'll all come out. I think we've got 2 football fields here at Spices.
It really is a nice little ground, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely.
It's just, it's the grass is very, very well kept. We've got the pavilion. How the pavilion doesn't look that old. How long since that's been up?
Around, I think now for about 8 years now. I think it's
right.
about 8 years, 8 or 9 years old now.
So what happened? The old one went down one winter, and by the time the season came around again, up
the old one
a new
was
one.
very old. It was
right. Didn't need to be taken down. It came down of its own accord.
Itself pretty well. But no, especially for myself as a player here, very privileged to be at a club with these facilities. Very lucky. And it's good to see, Sawston get a crack at some minor county cricket here, which is brilliant.
I guess that's appreciated, really, both by players and fans as well, for that matter. The players just having a bit of a chin wag in the middle there. I think the
ball's rolled under the cage.
We were saying about the possibility of it rolling under a car. If it's gone under the cage there, it's take a little while to retrieve. In fact, I think one of the umpires is walking off now. I don't know if he's going to retrieve his box of balls to say, oh, here we go. We've got a collection of 6. So the idea is they get one which is of similar condition, is it? So the one, so a 9 over old ball or thereabouts.
So they'll have a box with a heap of balls of all different conditions and try and pick the one nearest to how the original ball was.
And I guess that one which has got stuck underneath that cage area there, that'll find itself in a similar box.
Yeah, and I think assistant groundsman Mark's heading over now with the key. He'll go fetch that one.
Which brand of balls are used here?
Not entirely sure what they use for the minor counties, whether they're Duke balls or not.
Right, but they'd be the same ball used in every match
All the
around,
same,
around
yeah.
the UK.
The minor
in
counties, the minor counties would have to use the same balls all the way around.
So I think we might be back in business. Moses has got the ball tossed to him. That's being tossed across to, who's that? Just caught the ball there. He's having a little look.
Back to Tiny Tim.
Back to Tiny Tim. Let's see if that's okay for him.
Not waiting for the groundsman to get off the field. He's in no hurry by the looks of it.
The ground. That's the best thing about cricket. Nobody's in any hurry whatsoever.
Not on a Sunday.
That's quite relaxing. Here comes again then from the new Ode end. The ball retrieved, or new ball I should say, and does straight. Oh, there's a bit of an LBW appeal going on there. Umpires on the slightest bit interested, and they run a single.
Very good over that for Norfolk. Sam Arthur's looking in very good nick. Quite a good player. Played a lot for Essex and Northants, I think. Has been at Great Witchingham for most of his career. He's a very, very good player.
That run takes us to 75 for 3 and the 9th over now. So we could be looking at a pretty good score here. Do you think they make 200 from here?
I think they're going to struggle to get 200. I think they'd be happy to get around 160 at the moment with the platform they have. 160, 170, I think they'd be very happy with.
Generally, the scoring rate in a game like this, how does it compare to, say, just a regular county T20 that you might see on Sky?
Yeah, it's obviously very different. It's a lot more of a spinner's kind of game, the minor counties cricket.
Here we go again then from the Cemetery Road end, and straight back down the ground there, leaning over. It's being fielded, a bit of a slight drop, although he was going at quite a speed when he picked it up the first time round. Sending that back down. Who's our bowler this time?
So this is young Harrison Craig, back on the left arm spinner.
Now, what's his height? I'm just quite intrigued by this as compared to our friend Tiny Tim. And his
standing next to Tim, he looks about 4'2".
Yes, it goes Craig. Oh, hit back again, and a good stop on that one. Didn't manage to get a run, so 77 for 3 now into the 10th over. Here comes Craig. Bowls again, another thwack. He's having a good go at this, but again, fielder, they managed to get one run. They're not going to attempt to take on the bowler there.
I think the original ball's come back now.
But they won't put that batting into play, would they? That would end up presumably in the box.
No, it looks like the original ball's come back.
Oh right, so on the right on the field. Would the bowlers feel more comfortable with that, with the one that they've worked with?
Especially they got it back quick enough within a few balls, so they wouldn't have deteriorated enough to really change it. So
I'm trying to remember which ground it is. It might be Cardiff's ground, Sophia Gardens, with the danger the ball ends up in the River Taff if they're not too careful. So there we go again, and another one run added to the score on that. My monitor has just died. I hope that doesn't mean anything bad. Other than the fact that I'm going to have to send Tony to find out what the score is every once so often in case we miss a ball. There we go. It's again picked up neatly, and there is one run added to the score there. I think 78 for 3 from memory. I'm back in 80 for 3. There we go after 10 overs. It's Cambridge 105 radio coverage of this T20 game between Cambridgeshire and Norfolk from Sawston. Here we come again, and there's no run on that off of Craig's bowling. End of the over then, halfway point in the first innings. It just feels so different to the first match when we started off at 11 o'clock this morning. A bit of sunshine, a little less wind, steady scoring.
It seems a lot more free flowing. Obviously, the tension's got out of this game compared to the first one when there was quite a lot riding on it.
Yes, because Cambridgeshire, as we know now, they're not progress any further, unfortunately.
So another bowling change now with Wakas Hussain coming back into the attack. The first time in this innings.
He's going to be coming in, is he, from the New Road end?
That's the one.
He's another tall one, I think.
He's quite stocky.
Yes,
old
stocky is
Wackas.
a better
He's,
word actually for him. I think sometimes it creates the impression that somebody is taller than they actually are. But here they are. Here he is now, though. And where did that fly
Well,
from?
that's going to be out by the looks of it. And it is.
Gone. Oh, well done. So first ball, Hussein gets his man. It's, another wicket down then for Norfolk. So they will be 4 down. Now, Cambridgeshire will no doubt be pleased with their result on that so far. And a new batsman makes his way, just passing our eye line now. Who will this be then?
Not entirely sure who this is.
Let's have a look,
Possibly
shall we, at the running order just to see. In the Monaco Grand Prix, Hamilton looks like he could be losing the lead there. That's carrying on at the moment. I once literally walked the course of the Monaco Grand Prix. It doesn't take much longer than 45 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit
walking.
slower than if you're driving.
Yeah, no,
around
if you're
it.
driving, you're round in no time at all.
I have a feeling this will be William Rogers. This will be.
So 80 for 4. I was trying to work out how the previous batsman managed to get out.
Yeah,
actually,
he tried a little ramp shot, sort of just over a short fine leg, and got it all wrong.
Yeah, it didn't seem to work. That was the bit which I caught. Then comes Hussein. Oh,
and
that's going straight down. That is going to go to 4. I don't think there's much point the bowler, fieldsman rather, trying to get after that. Although they might be about to disappear under one of the cars, so that might give him an opportunity to get on for all fours to go and retrieve that one. But here he comes. He seems to have got it quite quickly. It was behind the 2 black sight screens, which is why I couldn't quite see exactly what was happening there, though. This ball goes back via the wicket-keeper to another fielder, and then back once more to the bowler. So 84 for 4 on Cambridge 105 Radio. Cambridgeshire versus Norfolk. In he comes now, and that's another thwack straight to the wicket-keeper, and there's no run. Has Cambridgeshire's lineup for these T20 games has stayed relatively unchanged through the season so far?
It's a bit of a surprise, obviously, that first game, because they've got quite a strong team in for today. So they'd be pretty disappointed with how things went in that first game.
Just short distance. Oh, they are going to attempt to run on that one.
Misfield there by Harrison Craig, which I don't think Waxy will be too impressed with. Which brings William Rogers on strike for the first time.
He's got. I'm trying to look compared to his mate there. He's got his pads strapped on with white. And it sort of like creates a striped effect
they
on
have
the back.
the white straps on the back.
Yeah. In comes Hussein then from the New Road end. So again, just picked up a bit more successful fielding by Guest on that occasion.
We have the local dog walkers going past us in a minute.
Two different dogs, a furry one and a not so furry one. They're quite happy with their afternoon out in Sawston. He's saying to be happy. He got a wicket with his first ball. He's in again now. Bowls. That's straight through to the keeper.
Very good start that from Wackas. He'll be very happy with that.
Keeper goes back, retrieves the helmet, trying to work out whose helmet that actually is. Consultation going on in the centre between the two batsmen.
Young Connor Craig back into the attack now.
And when you say young, how young?
Not sure, Connor, but I remember playing against him a few years ago. Him and his brother were at Nassington, and they were teenagers then, so be very early 20s, I think.
Shuffling to start off with on the run-ups, and arms slight start to move, and he bowls. And that is good. Where's that one gone?
That's another one back over the road.
Oh
the house.
dear. having to go and fetch. They almost need somebody permanently posted on the other side of that hedge. Hope they don't get squashed by the bus as they run by. I don't know, actually, the cricket balls are so hard, it might do more damage to the bus than it would do the actual ball there.
You get a bit of a shock if you're sitting up in the top row there in the bus.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine it? Well, it's bound to happen on a few occasions. I think there's been a few, I don't wish to worry anybody, there's been a few occasions, hasn't there, when cricket balls have come through commentary box windows. We don't even have a window here. Sat with our little trestle table. So in again from the cemetery end. And again, a sort of play and a miss, and quickly back to the stumps, putting the bat behind the line. .91 for 5 now in the 12th over.
A little bit more sunshine.
It is. It's quite bright, isn't it? I'm quite enjoying the sunshine. Oh no! I thought for a moment that was that had got. It did go straight to the fielder, but it went via the ground. So no run there.
So we have the Cambridgeshire president walking past us. A bit more of a smile on his face for a change. It's good to see.
Good afternoon, sir.
And Keith Coburn.
It looks like he's after another cup of something by the looks of things. And again, and oh dear, that's straight over the bowler's head. But fortunately, one bounce, the fielder manages to pick that one up and return it across. It's ball's being thrown. Well, it feels like halfway around the ground before it returns to the bowler. Certainly, rather pleasant afternoon now, and we come in again. Just passing the stumps, ball pitching probably in the centre almost. It sort of felt like for a moment, and the players get a run between the two of them. Brings us to 94 for 5 in the 12th over now. In we come again, and the ball just hit away to the fielder nearby, and another run taken. Again, you feel that there is this little steady, as they managed to do in their innings last time around. This steady, just milking the strike, sending
the middle order,
ball.
yeah, and then hopefully not lose too many wickets and have a little platform for the sort of the last
I just could have a
5 or 6 overs. I think they're still looking at 170. I think they would like.
Bit of a thwack fest potentially on the cards then if they don't lose too many more wickets. In we go again, and that's driven down. We had a bit of a misfield there. Is he okay? It just seems to have slipped ever so slightly. Doesn't seem to be limping or anything. But now it's nonchalantly picking up the ball, which I think had stopped short of the rope. And it is a rope here. None of these triangular things with advertising on. I notice nobody's but the advertising boards fell down earlier on this morning.
We've given up on those.
And I guess with the wind, as soon as you stand the things up, they're going to fall down again. But clearly none of the sponsors are present. If I was one of the sponsors, I'd probably gone along and stood it up myself.
As I said earlier, the only one still standing is Daniel's coaching company, FCC. So I think he keeps picking those up, doesn't he?
He's probably got a few of his weights maybe from his gym, which is keeping it down. 99 for 5 in the 12th over. Cambridgeshire versus Norfolk on Cambridge 105 radio via YouTube for this video coverage. Hussain is back and is in. He bowls, and that one is just that can be mopped up now over the ropes, just landing into the nets there.
13th over.
Into the 13th over, and we're past the 100 mark at 103 for 5. I'll just finish off this over, then I'll hand you over to Ollie Slack to pick up the commentary through to the end of the innings. Here comes Hussain. He bowls, and that's just given a light dab. Fielder gets hold of it, and there's one run there to add to the total.
ticking things along very nicely here. Matthew Plater looks like he's in some pretty good touch at the moment.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good at the moment.
Will Rogers still just finding his feet.
Comes Hussein again. He bowls, and that's just hit back over. It's oh dear, it's heading towards that area where we had to go and get the key to let it out before. But no, the ball is picked up, and it's thrown back, and Hussein manages to pick that up. Just walking back to his mark now.
Stay back 1 or 2. Doesn't change that number yet.
Certainly the wind has dropped. No sign of the rain we once had a little while ago. Hussein comes in, bowls. So that one is heading straight down as well. Is that going to be cut off? No, it is. A couple of people just, including Ollie, I must say. I was wandering in front of my eye line there. I was just trying to keep an eye on where the ball was heading to. Far distance, there's a lady wandering around the perimeter with a pushchair, little one getting his first taste of the cricket this afternoon. In comes Hussein. He bowls, and that's just hit away over. Is that going to make it? Yes, and 4 runs, I think, quite easily. Just hits the hedge and falls down. I presume there is a rope over there rather than just the hedge. It's not like the Kent ground where they have the tree, and if you hit the tree, it's 5.
Yeah, well, there's a few grounds in our league that have got the trees on the ground, which are always interesting.
Yeah, we are relatively tree-free here, at least in the ground itself. Here comes Hussein and the maroon of Cambridgeshire bowls. It's just hit away there. They're fielded quite easily. The covers, and there is, I think, 1 run added to the score.
That was very good over that for Norfolk, going along very nicely. As is Dan on his daddy duties in front of us.
Maybe Bruce around 4:30.
So far, weather looks good, holding up for us. They're changing the commentary box, and Ollie Slack is back with us. Welcome back, Ollie.
You all right?
Yes, going well, going well. Sun's out.
Yeah, better now. But Norfolk are just starting to turn the screw a bit, sort of kick on a little bit.
Yeah. Matt Plater looks like he's really starting to get in go mode now. Be quite exciting. He's a very good player.
That score lost the 5 wickets, but still, like you said, very much looking towards hopefully that 170s. Rob Sayers back into the attack and bowls, and just missed out the batsman there, gone straight through to Josh Bowers. He parried before picking up again. So you still thinking that 170 mark, Matt?
Yeah, well, if Matt Plater keeps batting, I think they could look at a bit more than that. He's a very powerful player.
Sarin again and just clipped onto the leg side, possibly pushing a 2, but only the single. Yeah, it's just felt like they've managed to rebuild after those sort of flurry of wickets and sort of turned on the style a little bit in these last few overs. As Sayer comes in again, and just a thick inside edge, it looked like, into the leg side as Seabrook collects again. Just a single?
Just a single, which I think was the difference between how Cambridge were in the first innings and this innings. Cambridge lost a lot of their wickets in clumps, which really dried up the scoring rate where
So
comes in. Oh, wowee.
That's a lovely shot. A full toss. Really a freebie, really, but
Switch hit, and he's 1 bounce 4.
Yeah. It's a very inventive shot. Tried the scoop earlier. Well, the Norfolk batsman would end up getting out, but a full volley there and hit over the leg side towards fine leg area for 4.
Yeah, as I was saying, Norfolk have done well to not lose any sort of back-to-back wickets. They've sort of lost the wicket, they've then been able to put on a little partnership, which takes a lot of pressure off.
I guess if they are to get up to that big score, it will need a bigger partnership of some sort to kick them on as Sayer comes in again. Slightly quicker ball, flicked into the leg side as Conor Craig does the work coming round to field it and dance it in back to Josh Bowers. So in once again, right arm around, flatter, quicker ball into the pitch, into the offside. James Williams, the skipper, coming around to collect.
It's the end of the over. Another very good one there for Norfolk. Ticking along very nicely now.
Yeah, very much so. 15 overs gone. Score 120 for 5. Said on the Sawston Pavilion scoreboard.
Harrison Craig back into the attack now.
Yeah, there's 7 bowlers used so far for Cambridgeshire. He's 9 in the first match. Harrison Craig, figures of 2 for 12 so far. Switched end as well.
Yes, yeah, it's been a sort of looks like it's been the plan from Cambridge today in both games to really mix their bowling around to try and put off the Norfolk batters, I guess, not let them settle, but it hasn't really worked.
In comes Harrison Craig again. Left arm spinner flicked off his pads towards the backward square. I think it's Craig Park out there in the fielding. Tim Moses, Callum Guest behind square on the 45s. Comes Harrison Craig again, advanced down the pitch and hit away into the offside. Wax is saying coming round to field and collects well. Just managed to parry it back into field after falling himself over the rope to have saved a couple of runs.
Well then, Hussein, waddling after that one. He's very much a waddler.
In comes Harrison Craig once again in bowls. A reverse sweep shot. Shout for LB and he's given.
Okay.
It's a wicket for Cambridgeshire, another one. And just tried to put the pressure back on the bowler, the Norfolk bowler. Reverse sweep, probably looking to go over Tim Moses with him up in the circle.
Which is a difficult proposition, getting over Tim Moses.
Do you think the fact Tim Moses was up was to try and tempt him going over him?
Yeah, quite possibly. There's obviously a very risky shot, but the way he's been going, I think it's that time of the innings really where he's had a full licence to do what he wanted, and unfortunately was found plumb in front then. Very good knock from Matthew Plater then.
LBW, Harrison Craig. The fielders were back in front of square, so I think he had lots of fielders at long off and potentially long on as well. The fielders up inside the circle were behind square. That's why he probably went for that reverse sweep shot. In comes the new batsman for Norfolk.
I have a feeling could be Ben Coote.
Ben Coote, a bit of a reshuffle in the batting order first given then. If Ben Coote is the man at the crease, Harrison Craig to continue this over.
Have a couple of local hecklers walking past.
In comes Craig again, full of length, driven down to long off. Bit of a fun ball, but straight back in. That's more for the Sawston of Abraham Army. A few guys want to interviews, want their 5 seconds of fame, but in comes Craig again. Or a big swing. And inside to Callum Guest. And no run there.
The local Sawston comedians they are.
Known well?
Far too well, unfortunately. I'm sure we'll hear from them later on their way back around.
Yeah. Hopefully they go the other way around. A decent over there from Harrison Craig there. Pretty tight.
Yeah, that was. It was sort of... Cambridgeshire really needed a wicket there, so that was quite an important one. Especially getting Matt Plater, who was the in batsman, who looked like he could really push this score on.
Yeah, very much so.
It's another interesting period now. This is sort of where Cambridgeshire could really pull this back and keep it manageable, or Norfolk could really push this on and make it a really difficult chase. As we have Rob Sayer back into the attack now. Oop. And there's a long ball up to Moses.
To Tim Moses. Oh, he's dropped him.
Built an absolute sitter.
Oh, it's a It's a chance for Tim Moses. It takes a lot to clear him, but in fairness, it wasn't above his head; it was into his chest, and a chance to catch that.
I think
Parried it.
initially he looked like he was a bit worried about where the rope was. Didn't want to step over the rope, but sort of really forgot about catching the ball, which was the main part.
Rob Sayer comes in and hit a bit upish into the offside. This time Callum Guest chasing round.
Oh, brilliant.
And it's absolutely outstanding fielding from Callum Guest to slip up earlier on. But that's brilliant. Dive full length, stopping the 4.
It's probably not the place to drop an absolute sitter right in the in front of the pavilion, in front of the crowd.
Tim Moses there, unfortunately, he looks our way. Drop that last ball from Rob's head. 2 deliveries away, coming his way again. This has found the gap between Conor Craig and Tim Moses. Gone for 4, a lovely shot. Nice use of the feet there as well.
Always seems to be a way. You drop an easy catch and the next couple of balls seem to get hit to the boundary.
Always seems to follow you around as well. But split the field is perfectly there. Still, I don't want to jinx it, but not much has come our way so far today, thankfully. Rob Sayer, and another shot towards Tim Moses again. This one bouncing well short of him as he collects easily and throws back into Rob Sayer. Didn't look too pleased, did he there, Rob?
No, he's quite an intense man at the best of times, Rob Sayer. So he won't be too pleased with that one.
Tim not looking particularly happy either as he walks back to his mark down at long off. Sayer in again now. And they really are going big now. It's, back into the fielder. Over into the leg side. A lofted shot and Craig Puck. I don't know if he pulled out. He just seemed to sort of save the boundary rather than go for the catch.
Went for the safer option. Probably after the last drop catch, he decided, I'm going to take the safer option here.
Didn't want to make Rob too angry as he comes in again. So Norfolk look to be going the aerial route here. And again, straight down the ground to Callum Guest. And this will be out.
Drop that one.
What a catch from Callum Guest. Simple one again in the end above his head, but made the ground really quickly. And Rob Sayers got his wicket. Every shot in that over was going up in the air.
It sort of looked like both batsmen decided, well, now's the time we're going to hit out or get out and go away with a couple, but ultimately in the end William Rogers couldn't clear the ropes and he's out. And new batsman is Ryan Finlay.
Is that 6 now? It is now 6. So Norfolk now 6 down. Apologies, the scoreboard here at Sawston had got a bit too eager for Cambridgeshire, saying they lost 6, but it is 6 wickets now. 133 for 6 as the Norfolk man comes to the crease. Is this Watson?
Should be Ryan Finlay.
Ryan Finlay. And Harrison Craig is going to continue from the New Road end. So it's a wicket for Rob Sayer. First of the day so far. Harrison Craig, I guess they're going to continue now. 3 overs for 16 and 2 wickets so far as he comes in bowls. Yorker length, just managed to dig it out into the leg side. I think that's Craig Putt once again doing the fielding work, sweeping on that leg side boundary. Just kept for a single. The score moves on to 134.
So still looking at that sort of 170, 180 score. I think they'll be pretty happy with.
Definitely so. They'll be looking at probably going at 10 and over in these last 10, 12 and over in these last 3 overs. Another Yorkerish length delivery from Harrison Craig. Dug out in front of square this time, but Craig in the action again, diving forward to stop it. Makes it back to his mark. Runs in bowling left arm spin. Another brilliant bowling. Yorker length once again. 3 very, very similar deliveries and just the 1 run scored off them so far.
Really good start. Really important last couple of balls here to try and get out of this over well.
And again, and very similar Yorker length again. That's 4 bang-on deliveries at this time of the innings. It's just what James Williams will be wanting. Shows you that a Yorker has definitely not gone out the game with all these variations, and once again, and he's managed to stop it, and probably was only going to be a single anyway, going down to the long off fielder, but great effort from Harrison Craig. So 2 runs from this over so far, with 2.1 overs to go. In he comes again, the final ball of the over. Slightly more floated, similar Yorker length though, and an inside edge away to Callum Guest, who covered round to pick up the ball on the leg side. That's a brilliant over, really. 3 runs from it. Harrison Craig, that completes his bowling spell. 4 overs, 19 runs for 2 wickets. A great spell from him.
Brilliant spell that. Especially thing as the look like the Norfolk players have really made a conscious effort to go after the spinners. So they only go at 5 and over. And quite a quick outfield, flat wicket. It's a brilliant effort from a young kid.
Tim Moses back into the attack now for the last couple of overs. Just marking out his run up from the cemetery end.
He'll be hoping for a couple of wickets here after trying to redeem himself with that drop catch.
James Williams, the skipper, makes himself, comes out on this leg side boundary, sweeping out here. And Connor Craig is down at long on. Sweeper on the offside as well. And 2 on this leg side. Ben Seabrick joins James Williams out here, but cut on the back foot straight to Craig Park out there, it looks. It's a single off the first. So what will Tim be thinking now, going into this last couple of overs? I guess, does he bowl at the death for you guys on a Saturday?
Yeah, he has done before. Luckily, we haven't really got to that stage where we haven't had too many tight games, but he's got a really good Yorker for such a tall bloke, and to be able to execute a good Yorker, I think he's going to be looking at bowling pretty full and straight now.
So the left-hander to face as the field switch round. Tim Moses in now, that sort of full Yorkerish length. He's found that there, and a big swing and a miss and through to Josh Bow, the keeper. This is where we might be in danger.
Like it's a left-hander on strike, so we
should be okay for the moment.
Commentators curse those.
Get ready, Mr. Barnfield. In comes Moses once again. Just pretty slightly slow ball, pitch short. It didn't really get up and flicked off the pads, and it looks like that's going to go down towards a deep backward square and fine leg for 4.
He's going to change of pace. They've just got his line all wrong there, just straight onto the legs. And just worked away well behind backward square leg.
Yeah, it's 2 overs for 15 runs before we started this. Just the 5 runs from it so far. 1-4-1 for 6, the score. In comes Moses once again. And that was a very, very full toss. It probably will be signalled a no ball. And it will be given byes. No ball called. Looked above waist height. It floored the batsman. And Josh Bowers behind the stumps as well as it then flew over the rope. That's given us byes. 4 byes. But no ball called, which could be crucial, obviously, at this stage things were free hit.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of a wild one there. Obviously looking for the Yorker and getting it very wrong. And that's the last thing you want as a keeper.
Here comes Moses once again. Bowls shorter length this time, top edge. And it looks like it's evaded the fielder, and it has done. It might trickle away for 4. That's what the pace on the ball does. Top edge and away for 4. Tim Moses not be happy, really. Just luck on his not on his side there.
Bit of a change in field now. Fine leg going back and the long off coming up, which I think shows I'm going to start bowling a little bit short. I think.
I don't think we're pitching out now, will he? Unless he's going to bank on himself in that Yorker length, but it looks like with fine leg going back and long off coming up, it will be a shorter ball. Will it be a double? But off the wing comes Moses. Bowls shorter ball, slapped in front of square though, and down to Callum Guest, bobbled up and hit his chest. And it nearly trickled over the rope, but he's managed to collect it. Fiercely hit towards him. Bobbled up on this outfield, but I think just a couple of runs at the end.
It's nice little grass coverage and looks relatively flat, but it's like concrete. So once that ball gets bobbling, it can get a bit nasty out there. Callum Guest wore that well in the chest.
Be a nice one to show his mates in the morning.
Don't worry, he'll tell everyone all about it.
As Connor Craig comes back onto bowl the last over here. Slightly better weather to how we finished the last innings of this. In the last match. Currently cloudy. Tony tells me it's roughly 17 degrees as well as the cloud just starting to separate a bit. You still see the blue sky starting to appear again. Conor Craig, is he very in this sort of situation, Matt? Very good in this, the last overs, bowling at the death?
Yeah, again, I think he's, especially being he's much shorter, looks about 3'2". I don't think he's got the bouncer in the locker, so I think this is just has to be full and straight at the stumps. Maybe the odd change of pace. But
And that represents the field as well. In comes Conor Craig now, bowls a full ball, hit down the ground, and Wackers is going to stop the boundary. He does down at long off. And thrown back into Craig. So in terms of the field, long off and long on back on the boundary. Is that deep extra cover as well? Ben Seabrook and James Williams come out on this boundary as well. He's shouting across difficulties as a captain in a T20 match when you're on the boundary. The field gets set to the left-hander now, so Williams and Seabrook on this leg side boundary. Conor Craig again hit down the ground, once again towards Wackers Hussain and Ben Seabrook. Picks it up, throwing it sharply into Josh Bowes.
so far, so good for young Conor, and Conor Craig.
So the right-hander on strike now, so James Williams comes up inside the circle. Harrison Craig switches over, long on, long off back as well. Slower ball, hit high in the
Very
air.
high. Sam Rivington
And Sam
under
Rivington
this.
underneath it. Very difficult, swirling in the wind.
Oh, he's taken that
And
well.
he's taken that very comfortably. And wickets continue to tumble here at intervals. So wicket for Conor Craig, and that is 153 for 7 income to new batsman. Is this the skipper?
This will be Ashley Watson. Actually, a very, very good batsman. More suited to the 50 over cricket or the time cricket in Premier League than T20s. But very, very good player nonetheless.
Very much so, and we can also rest easy now in the last over of this innings. They're hitting towards the New Road end. So we are not in danger.
Very quickly, the batsman's only 3/4 of the way off and everyone's ready to go.
Doesn't seem a happy man as he trundles off. He's still on the pitch as Conor Craig comes into bowl, and a full length ball
Well, it might spin around the ball.
hit out into the offside. Was it open the face or more of a thick outside
Yeah, I
edge?
think he sort of really opened the face on that, and obviously spun away from
Past the fielder
Egg Park out there.
on the offside. And the first boundary of this final over in the Norfolk innings.
Been a good little cameo this from Ben Coote. Since he's come in, he's gone pretty hard and ticked it along nicely.
In comes Conor Craig again, bowls, shorter length ball, this time slapped in front of square. Wackers Hussain is going to have to do the fielding. He gets his body in the way of it, and it just trickles, just looks like it trickled just about over the right, but he managed to keep it in the end, diving. It was similar to that Callum Guest one in the previous over.
Done well there, Wackers. He doesn't fancy those at all. He had quite a big injury for training for Berkshire last year. He got a broken cheekbone. Ran into another player under high ball, so he's a little bit tentative in the field now.
Did very well there. Conor Craig coming in to bowl now. Just back on it, well, slower ball. Fooled the batsman, and Josh Bowers.
Oh, well done.
Has he got the stumps? They take the quick single, and he is out. Ashley Watson is on his way back to the pavilion, and that was the last delivery of the innings. They finish on 159 for 8 to Norfolk. A very good bowling performance from Cambridgeshire, really similar to the Norfolk one in restricting them with wickets. Didn't feel like you say in clusters, but sort of regular intervals, and a very good performance from Cambridgeshire there, Matt.
Yeah, they definitely improved from the first game today. Not as many bad four balls, and bowled a much better length today. But look, I think Norfolk will still be pretty happy with 160. I think that's very much par. So I think we're very much 50-50 at the moment. But good to see some improvement from Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, very much so. And like you said, 159, probably just about par, a score that both would have been happy for in the first match as well.
I think if you had asked both teams, they'd be 159 at 20 overs. I think they'd both probably take it. So it's all there for the Cambridgeshire batsmen if they're good enough, but they'll have to definitely improve a lot on how they went in the first game.
Yeah, the standout with the ball, Harrison Craig, 4 overs, 19 runs, 2 wickets. Sam Rippington, 3 overs, 21 runs, 2 wickets. So Sam Rippington really good at the top of the innings, getting the early wickets to sort of halt any sort of momentum Norfolk could take into this second match, and he really did the business.
Yeah, really set the standard. He did, especially getting Stephen Marilia early, who really took the game away from Cambridge in the first innings. And yeah, he bowled really well, set the standard, and really got the innings away for Cambridgeshire, which was good to see.
Yeah, we'll get more reaction from Matt, and we'll speak to maybe a couple of the players as well after this short break.
Cambridge 105 Radio, T20 Cricket.
Cambridgeshire versus Norfolk.
Live from Spicer Sports Field in Sawston.
Yes, we're back here at Sawston. The weather is brightening up. It's slightly cloudy still, but we can sort of just see the blue skies peeping through a couple of clouds, and just getting reaction really from Norfolk's first innings score of 159 for 8 off their 20 overs. I'll read you through the scorecards, and as follows: Marilia fell by Sam Rippington, caught by Rob Sayer for 4 runs. Sam Arthurton caught by James Williams, bowled by Waxter Sane for 35, a decent knock there. Reynolds was caught by Conor Craig, bowled by Sam Rippington for 8. Tom Liu was bowled by Harrison Craig for 27. Matthew Platter bowled by Harrison Craig for 33. LBW trapped in front. Rogers was caught by Callum Guest, bowling of Rob Sayer for 18. Ben Coote 40 not out at the end, so a good hand there. 21 not out, at the end. Ryan Finlay falling for 4, bowled by Conor Craig, caught by Sam Rippington, and Watson was run out by Josh Bowers for 0 as well. So, Matt, going into this second innings now, obviously the main issue with the first match with Cambridgeshire was obviously that batting performance and losing those 4 early wickets. So do you think they'll be feeling that slight bit of pressure now when the sort of that new ball starts nipping around a bit?
Yeah, I think they will a little. I think obviously the main thing for them is to not lose early wickets. Obviously Cambridgeshire bat so deep, but if they're able to get through the power play with only 1 or 2 down, really allows them to go pretty hard towards the end to chase down this score. So I think it's going to be the key in that first 6 overs to not lose any wickets. And then I think they'll back themselves in to be able to chase this down. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully so. Obviously, difficult situation in terms of not much to play for, because obviously we are led to believe they cannot qualify. So what are they playing for? Like I said, they have got that 50-over competition coming up soon. I think it might be against Norfolk as well. Yep. So perhaps in terms of their own form, getting in to nick the players themselves, but also probably leaving one on Norfolk mentally for that match. It could be important.
I think, again, it's a bit of pride. No one wants to lose 2 games in a row. And I think it could be a dangerous thing for Norfolk, with obviously Cambridgeshire being out of the competition now. This innings they get to play with complete freedom, nothing to lose as such. So be interesting to see how they approach it, whether they do go hard at the start, or whether they just want to get through that power play without any loss of wickets.
Yeah, and we saw in the first match, obviously those early wickets fell for Cambridgeshire. Who are you looking at really to be the main player Norfolk should be worried about? Obviously, not many did perform in that first match.
Oh, look, I'd have to say it's going to be Waqas Hussain. He's the sort of the Cambridgeshire pro this year, and as an opening batsman, I think a lot's on him to get off to a good start here. Obviously, come across from Berkshire last year, averaging 84, I think it was, in the Minor Counties Unicorn Championship.
Yep.
So I think he'll put a lot of, I know what he's like, he'll put a lot of pressure on himself, and after missing out in the first game, he definitely won't want to miss out again in the second.
I feel rain again. It all seems to come between the innings, doesn't it? That seems to have been the story so far. Yes. It's become great disappointment to the gentlemen who are out in the middle there, just having a little sweep along of the wicket, and presumably painting in the line as well for the batsman.
Yeah,
a bit heavier this one. I think everyone's running for cover.
It is. Everyone's running for cover, and as we say, the rain is hammering down. The covers are going to come on, and that probably will, I imagine, as well, put a stop to proceedings for a minute in terms of on-field.
Yeah, the sky towards sort of the outside is still reasonably bright around the edges. There's clearly some rain-bearing cloud up above us here, but as far as the play is concerned, well, here we go. They're moving on the covers now. One from the cemetery end, and the other 2. That 2, was that 3 over there?
2 over there.
Coming in from the new road end, so they're going to put those on to the wicket as quickly as they can. In fact, you can see the rain quite clearly against the black side screen up there towards New Road. Say Rob is doing our engineering today, just been sprinting across and looking after our cameras to make sure that they're protected. So if it's suddenly gone dark and you're watching, that's the explanation for all of that. And I don't think we produced a rain-stopped play graphic. I think we possibly need to do that.
Imagine so, yeah.
Back in the day, it used to be Doctor Who and the Sea Devils whenever it rained on the bank holiday. They'd usually bring that out. I don't think we can do that for you at the moment. We might be able to bring an interview with one of the players shortly if we're lucky. I'm being waved at by Tony, who fortunately has got a shower-proof coat on, along to go with his.
He looks ready. He
is ready. So let's.
Nobody yet, I'm afraid.
Nobody yet. What's happening in there? Is there sort of scurrying activity because of the rain, or is everybody
they've all
just
dived into the changing rooms at the moment?
Right. Okay. Well, I guess that's probably where they're going to stay for a little while. By the look of things, look, keep an eye on that for us, Tony. When you see evidence of them coming out, then we shall go and have a word with a few of the players if we can. Ollie is still here, of course, alongside me. But how does the standard, Ollie, of a play in a minor counties game such as this compare to a county game, which I guess is the closest comparison?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not too sure. I know that there is talk next year of bringing the counties, the minor counties, into like one of the competitions, I think, with the first-class counties, whether it be the one-day cup, which we know is now being changed to a development competition because of the 100 that the ECB are bringing in. I think there might be a few games at outgrounds or local grounds for the minor counties to play against the first-class counties next season. Whether that will be in friendlies or in actual competition, I'm not sure, but I think that it will show the difference in quality. In terms of the level, I think there's obviously going to be a step up, probably an extra few yards of pace as well in the bowling. But these guys are very good cricketers. They've been playing it from such a young age, you can see.
Well, I was going to say, because you've got we have Hussein, who's the pro here this year for Cambridgeshire. We have an ex-Zimbabwean player who's part of the Norfolk lineup, and they're not the only people who have experience to a greater or lesser extent with one of the counties. So in theory, that's going to rub off on some of the other players.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Wax was saying, like I say, was at Berkshire last year, another minor county, and Rob Sayer, who was a player for Cambridgeshire now, he's played at Leicestershire for a bit, and a few of these guys, I know Ben Seabrick was up at Durham Academy, I think last season. So a lot of these guys would have probably been in touch with the first class counties at some point during their careers. So there isn't going to be that much difference in quality. Probably the quality will show because there's a reason they're playing minor counties cricket, but obviously it's still a very, very high standard.
Well, hold that thought. Let's go across to Tony, who I believe has got somebody with him.
I have
in the dry of the
James
pavilion.
Williams of the Cambridgeshire side. What were your thoughts on all that then?
Yeah, I thought we bowled really well. Bowled really well in the power play and finished off the last few overs really well as well. So yeah, really happy with the total, and hopefully we can go knock these off now.
Yes, and who do you think stood out on that match, that innings?
Harrison Craig bowled fantastic. I thought everyone, who got given a chance to bowled brilliantly, and we've got a lot of options in that team, so we know that everybody will stand up and be counted when we need them to.
The rain's a bit of a nuisance, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's typical English weather, and hopefully we won't get too much. We can get out there as quick as we can.
All the covers being put out at the moment, we can see. Do you think you're going to get back out there?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm not one for looking at weather forecasts, to be honest, because they always change so dramatically. So yeah, hopefully we'll get back out there soon.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a short, sharp shower, so maybe.
Happy days. Let's get out there.
James, thank you very much.
James William there, Cambridgeshire skipper, of course, back in the side for the second game today. Just to update you on proceedings here, it is currently raining. The covers are going on, not just the wicket that they're playing on today, but also the other wickets across the square that Sawston use all throughout the season. So precaution being taken as the grey skies look to come over. Let's just get the scorecard up and update you what's gone on at Sawston so far in the first innings between Cambridgeshire and Norfolk in this second match Of course, Cambridgeshire won the toss and batted first. They did so. Won the toss and bowled first, unlike the first match. So different to the first match, was they batted first and lost a flurry of wickets in that opening match. In the second match this afternoon, they bowled first and Norfolk were put into bat. Marilia with 4 runs, bowled by Sam Rippleton, caught by Rob Sayer. Sam Arthurton got a decent knock of 35. Bowled by Wacker Sane, caught by James Williams. JD Reynolds with 8 runs to his name, bowled by Sam Rippleton, caught Connor Craig. 2 early wickets for Sam Rippleton in that innings, a great opening spell for him. Tom New was bowled by Harrison Craig for 27 runs. Matthew Plater got a very good knock of 33 to boost Norfolk during those middle overs, but he was eventually LBW to Harrison Craig, trapped in front towards the end. Rogers came in, hit a useful 18 to sort of, as Norfolk were trying to get up to that 170 mark. They really looked at one point that they were going to continue and push on to get to that sort of 170, possibly 180 mark, but eventually wickets kept tumbling. Ryan Finley, bowled by Connor Craig, caught Sam Rippleton for 4, and Watson was run out by Josh Bowers, the last ball of the match. 2. The batsman unbeaten at the end was 21, Ben Cooch, not out. Extras, there were 4 byes, 2 leg byes and 3 wides. That's 9 extra altogether, boosting the total up to 159 for 8. The fall of wickets, they lost their first wicket, Norfolk, after 5 runs at 5 for 1. Sam Rippington struck again, with Reynolds being out 19 for 2. Then they got a bit of a partnership back of about 40 odd runs. Tom New, the next man to go. Sam Arthurton then about 15 runs later for 80 for 4. Then they got a decent partnership of 43. Matthew Plater was the next man to go, 123 for 5. And then wickets sort of tumbled every so often, sort of 10 to 15 runs. You had Rogers leaving the field at 133 for 6. Ryan Finlay at 153 for 7. And Ashley Watson, 159 for 8. Ben Coote, the man not out at the end. In terms of the bowling figures, Tim Moses, 3 overs, 6 runs for no wickets. Sam Rippington, 3 overs, 21 runs, 2 wickets. A brilliant opening spell from him, redeeming himself after a tricky period in the first match. Connor Craig, 3 overs, 28 runs, 1 wicket. Rob Sayer, 4 overs, 26 runs, 1 wicket. Callum Guest, with just the 1 over, went for 15. Harrison Craig, 4 overs, 19 runs, 2 wickets. The pick of the bowlers really bowled really tightly towards the back end as well. Wacker Sane picking up 1 wicket, 18 runs and 2 overs. So Tony Barnfield is back towards the pavilion now, and he's got Ashley Watson, the Norfolk captain, with him. Tony.
I have indeed, yes. Ashley, that was some good teamwork in there.
Yeah, definitely. To come back from the first game to carry on with the bat in the second game was pretty good. Even though that Stephen Rilio didn't get any in the second dig, we still got players who didn't get a bat in the first innings to get us a good score on that wicket.
And what are you thinking of the pitch here?
It's really good, I've been talking to the groundsman since I've been here, and he's told me it's a good wicket, and so far so good. I really enjoyed actually playing here because this is the first time I've played here.
69 years old, the pitch.
Is it really? Wow. Yeah. I don't know what else to say to that.
Nearly as old as me. So who do you think stood out in that innings?
I think Matt Plater did. He played some unbelievable shots. That shot over extra cover to actually go into somebody's garden was quite a good one. He hit it all parts of the field, so he done a really good job for us, and so did Sam Arthurton up the top as well.
Some strong work.
Yeah, some really strong work, and we've now got bigger work on our hands now, because we're now fighting the rain, and the Duckworth Lewis will probably come in, which is kind of helps them on batting second, but hopefully we'll get the full 20 in and the rain goes away.
Ashley Watson, thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, Tony there with Ashley Watson, the Norfolk County captain. He makes a good point as well. We did sort of flirt the idea of Duckworth Lewis in the first match as it sort of started to spit towards the end. It really did downpour now, and of course the problem is that if rain does affect and they do delay it anymore, they will lose overs, and then of course that target gets reduced, and as Ashley said, that may favour the batting side, as then they know what target they're going to get it. Might be also difficult though if they are going on and off with rain. Batsmen, once they get set, then having to go off and come back on again, it might be difficult for those batsmen coming in and off. There's ramifications each way, but it's going to be very tempting, that rain sort of hanging over us. It does look to be getting slightly brighter though, doesn't it, Julian?
It does, and there's also a collection of people just wandering out to the middle now, and I think they're pulling off one, the sheet style cover. It may be that they then make their way over to the 3 roller covers which were brought on from either side of the ground.
Yep.
Certainly, I still think that there's some damp in the air, but it does seem to be disappearing. But no doubt the ground staff are keen to get things going as quickly as they can. And now it looks a man with a bottle of beer, 2 umpires, and a rather white fluffy dog have come on to...
Gotta love village cricket, haven't you?
Absolutely. So I'm not quite sure how the dog is going to help to get the covers off, but certainly going to do its best. A couple of sheets being moved in, or moved out, I should say, from either side. And I'm also not sure what's coming up at the moment from the covers. Is that a tie, or is that some hose arrangement to make sure that the water goes, well, basically water doesn't trickle down from the covers and land on the pitch anyway?
Exactly. So the slight metal work to the either side of the covers, sort of the tarpaulin, it's slightly slanted, and then you attach the hose at one end, the hose gets dragged away so the water can drain off in terms of the outfield, and it doesn't wet the main playing surface.
Okay, that makes sense. That dog is being very well behaved. I'm not quite sure if we can identify. Maybe Tony, you can get a quick word and ask him.
He's not that good of an interviewer. He is good, but not that good.
Yeah, I didn't see. I don't know. But if anybody's wet, they could do it using the dog as a towel. So we'll see what happens. But that's a sign as to how long we're going to be away from the start of play there.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. They seem to be moving the covers off now, like you said.
I'm slightly worried that was indicating 10 minutes. Does that mean we have to talk for 10
no,
minutes?
that's the lad who just wants an interview all the time. That's all. He's desperate for an interview.
Just building up his part.
Yeah.
So nothing too much to stress ourselves.
Exactly.
With there. So,
but the umpires are back out in the middle, which is always a good sign. Whether they're checking.
It looks like, and I think the rain actually has finally stopped now, so that's one less thing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
So Norfolk getting 159 for 8 off of their 20 overs, and so Cambridgeshire obviously have to get 160. Clearly doable.
Yeah.
But we don't want a performance, do we, like they gave us in the first innings of the first match earlier this morning?
Yeah, I think that start will be crucial, not only because of how they batted in the last innings, but also because if they do start to lose a few wickets, that pressure may start to tell again. They need to get off a good start anyway if they want to chase the target, because we saw scores of 130 in that first innings, and 160 is probably about par, you'd say, and like you say, very doable. But it all depends on that start, because if Cambridgeshire do lose a couple of early wickets, they may have a few flashbacks to that first inning performance, and they won't want that.
Prey on the mind. If you're the guy who went out there first and got the golden duck, you're going to be a little bit stressed, aren't you?
Yeah, well, the worst thing Ben Seaver and Callum Guest want, they don't want to pair. They don't want to get ducks on both innings. Definitely not something they want on their averages in their scorebook. So, as well as we spoke a lot about in the last innings about what Cambridgeshire have to play for now with this match, meaning that even if they do and that they can't qualify potentially, it is for their own good, for their own form. That Cambridgeshire are playing Norfolk in the 50 over comp in a couple of weeks. So if they can land one on Norfolk and get one over on them, then that will stand them in good stead for that match. It's going to be tricky to trace 160. Like I said, very doable though. Tricky mainly because of the sort of psychological probably hindrances that they have from that first match, losing those 4 early wickets.
Yeah, just take a look at some of the other scores from the group today, because obviously there are some other matches which are being played. Now, Bedfordshire have encountered some rain in their match against Suffolk, but I think now Bedfordshire and Suffolk won the first match by the looks of things, and then Bedfordshire in the second match 146 for 4, and Norfolk currently 19 without loss in the second over.
Yeah,
and so Bedfordshire in a couple of weeks' time will be there, won't we, to cover the next match?
Yeah, 16th of June. I think the Cambridgeshire Bedfordshire match is. Bedfordshire, listen to the guys speak, probably one of the weaker sides in the group. But equally, it looks like they just fell short of that game against Suffolk. I think by the looks they had a revised target of 121 because rain was affected, and fell 20 runs short, if this is correct. And that second game, 146 off their 20 overs. With only 4 wickets left, 146, you'd think they'd really go at it and try and get a higher total with wickets in hand. Clearly, the pitch didn't allow them to. It might be difficult, but equally, 19 for 0 of 2 overs Suffolk, that's a brilliant start to their innings, so they'll be telling us otherwise. So Suffolk, if they count at the rate they're going at the minute, they will win that game. They'll make it 2 from 2, and Bedfordshire will be still sat at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, so Cambridgeshire, whilst not able to qualify, still clearly hoping they're going to be finishing a decent position in the table, because it is only the top team, isn't it, as I understand it, which goes through. There's no leeway or lucky loser or anything like that.
Yeah, currently Hertfordshire in that top spot in the group. So Unicorns T20 Group 3. Currently Hertfordshire are sat there played forward with 6 points. Norfolk, though, could go top if they win this match. They'll go 4 also with 6 points. Suffolk then played for 4 points. Cambridgeshire, again, depending on this result, they currently played 5 points for, and Bedfordshire played 2, lost 2, so no points. But again, all depending on those other results at Bedfordshire.
Starting to see some activity now by the looks of things. Some rather curious warm-ups are going on involving the Norfolk side. They're going to be fielding as Cambridgeshire attempt to score 160 runs in order to win the second of the 2 T20 matches being played here at Spices Sports Field in Sawston today. The first one, of course, Cambridgeshire lost to Norfolk, so they'll be hoping to even things up by the end of the day. The umpires have cleared the field, as have the ground staff. First of the Norfolk players out there, quite ahead of the others actually, swinging his arms around, walking out to the centre, and slowly but surely the other 10 players that make up the Norfolk side are making their way out as well. And I just have to keep an eye out to see as to when the Cambridgeshire batsmen start to appear.
Yeah, we need to see what the umpires say, whether we have lost any overs. Because of that
I'm not quite sure how we'll get an indication of that. I suppose we'll be able to work that out, or maybe Tony will be able to grab a word one of the scorers to see the official scores here, whether or not they can advise us on that as to what is happening.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, if they do lose overs, like Ashley Watson, the Norfolk captain, was saying, it could benefit Cambridge. It could not. Again,
I don't know. You know what? I suppose the problem is if you're the first side batting and you lose overs, because you've paced it to 20 overs, and if you suddenly say get 18, then that's a bit of a problem. However, if you're batting second and you know right from the outset that it's going to be 18 instead of 20, or whatever the umpires might decide, and we haven't heard anything one way or the other yet, you know where you're going, don't you?
The only issue is if there is more rain, then again, Cambridgeshire could be setting the pace for a target of 160. Even if they're slightly behind the rate, they could say they're setting the pace, and then they lose a few overs to rain, and suddenly their required run rate is a lot higher than they'd expect, and they have to go out hammering tongue. And if batsmen are coming on and off because of rain, hopefully we don't get any more. It's difficult once you sort of get set in your rhythm then to sort of come back and try and find that sort of tempo again. I guess it's easier for bowlers because they can sort of just come in and just try and run in and hit the deck, but slightly more difficult for batsmen. But again, there's difficulty for both because bowlers will have to deal with a wet ball, and that isn't easy either.
The forecast at the moment for the next hour or so is described as breezy and overcast, so that seems to suggest that there won't be any rain involved, but we could quite easily get some as the practice run up there from one of the Norfolk bowlers. I guess effectively some throw downs being caught at the other end and sent back to, and the other the two main bowlers now having a go at that. I don't know if anybody else is going to join in. They are. I think all of the bowlers, I think there's 5 of them out there at the moment, are going to have a few throw downs just to see that they can get the measure of the pitch. Second time they've played on it today, of course, but conditions just slightly a bit different. You know, we had the sunshine to start off with, and then some damp in the air after that.
Looks like Tony Barnfield has managed to find someone for us. I'm not sure whether we can go live. He did put his thumb up, but he's then gone and hid back into the Sawston Pavilion. So, Tony, have you got anyone with us?
Yes, indeed. Hello. I'm just going to talk to one of the scorers. How are we doing with the change of situation?
We're now, because of the rain delay, we are now reduced to 15 overs, and that means we've also got a revised target of 129 to win.
OK, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much, Tony. So 129 to win. The loss of 5 overs because of that shower that we had a few moments or so ago. I dare say they'll be looking to get out as soon as they can. So a target of 129 off of 15 overs is required.
Yeah, so it's about 31 runs off what they were originally needing to get. But obviously that loss of five overs, like we just spoke about there, that they know their target still. They know what they're going to have to go at to get it. So there's always presents difficulties with it. Hopefully, we won't get any more rain, and they're able to chase it. They've got talented batsmen in there. We know, despite that first match sort of flurry of wickets, that can easily chase most totals, and this will be no different.
It is turning into one of those curious cricket moments, actually, where we've got players, and obviously they like to have a little practice, and that's just fine. We have the sun, which is appearing, but the rest of the team are just huddled by the pavilion here. The umpires have gone missing, and there's no sign of any batsmen.
No, it doesn't look like it either. There's a few sort of Norfolk players congregating, 6 of them by the pavilion, waiting to go out. The 5 bowlers are getting loose.
There we go, that's 11.
Yeah, that works.
Just to let you know, the opening batsmen will be Connor, Craig and Hussain for Cambridgeshire.
So Connor Craig getting a boost up the order.
Yeah, I don't know if they're anticipating a bit of a thwack fest because of the loss of those 5 overs that Tony was telling us about a moment or two ago.
Yeah, and Ben Seabrook obviously avoids him getting having to face that first ball, obviously getting a golden duck in the first innings, and so.
That is a very good point. He has been spared.
Yeah, whether that was his decision or skipper James Williams' call, I'm not sure. I wouldn't imagine probably Ben would ask to drop down the batting order. I wouldn't have thought that at all. So I'd imagine it would probably be a decision by James. Conor Craig is a very well capable batsman. So there'll be a reason he's gone out with Wackers, and we'll see if it's a successful plan.
No, absolutely. Well, this is for strange. The other 5 players who were on the field appear to be walking off the field, but the more positive news is in the other direction of coming 2 umpires. Tony is with them.
Hello, are you happy for everything to go ahead now?
Absolutely. Yeah, no reason not to play. Had a bit of a problem with the printer for the DL, but we've got a photo of it now, so we're away.
Okay.
Well, thanks very much.
So printer stopped play on Duckworth Lewis by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's almost as good as sick on wicket. Anyway, Tony Barnfield, thanks for catching up with our 2 umpires there. They're now making their way towards the centre of the ground. Hopefully they'll get things underway, and these are the Duckworth Lewis tables. It's the Professor Duckworth, Professor Lewis, and I think there's another professor which has joined
Stern,
recently. Stern, that's it.
Stern.
Who does the calculations, and they revise these calculations every season or so. And in the national game and the county game, of course, the scoring rate seems to just keep going up and up. And so the 3 professors will have to continue to work on their scoring system, I think, for some time to come. There's a cute little girl walking by with blue shoes. She's got a beer glass. She appears to have drunk the beer at the moment, which might explain the walk. But she's looking pretty good. And oh dear, don't worry, it's not a nasty man. Don't interview her, Tony, because we need to make sure her parents are present before we do so. That'd be a bad thing. I think Mum is now bringing up the rear here anyway. So. Obviously out for a good day at the cricket. Right, there seems to be some action beginning to take place in the centre of the wicket here at Sawston. The batsmen are both lining up at either end, and I'll let where have our co-commentators gone to? They've gone missing as well.
Hid in the pavilion, probably from the rain.
Oh, I see. Well, they can tell them the rain stopped. They can come out and join Ollie Slack, who's going to be describing the first of the action.
Thank you, Julian. Yeah, Cambridgeshire looking to chase 129, the revised target from 15 overs. As I sit down in a very wet seat, but not much chance of really. Oh, Tony's handing me a towel. Slightly late now, but it'll still do. As of course we had that downpour that we managed to hide from, and it's been one of those days, isn't it? One of those days where the rain has interfered with the cricket, and not been great from a weather point of view. Very intermittent rain, etc. But we are back underway here now. As I realised, as I choose to comment on the first one, I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't see a thing. But I imagine it will be the same bowler who opened the bowling for Norfolk in the first match, Andy Hanby, with Connor Craig to face. And just onto the pads, just back of a length and no run. Yeah, so an interesting move here from Cambridgeshire. Wackers Hussain, not the interesting one that he is opening the batting. He was always going to open the batting, but Connor Craig been sent out early, which is rather a bit of a surprise, you could say. Just looking at his stats, but in comes Hanby again, bowls, and it looks like a thick edge outside. Someone it's gone for 4. First boundary of the innings for Cambridgeshire. And it's 4 runs for Conor Craig. A great start for him. So look to chase down 129 from 15 overs. Let's look at Conor Craig's stats for Oundle Town this season. He's in 4 innings. He scored 105 runs, average of 26, scoring at a strike rate of 93 with a best of 78. So obviously a very well capable batsman in terms of his stats for Cambridgeshire. Hasn't had a lot of game time, just scored the 14 runs in his 2 innings so far. A strike rate of 127, so clearly a very quickly scoring batsman. As Julian alluded to, that's probably why he has been sent up the order to give it a thwack, I think he said, for this opening spell. In comes Hanby again, just back of a length and flicked. I think it will be pads, and there's a bit of a mix-up. Waxer Sane was well short of the stumps there, but the ball completely missed the stumps shy. I think the wicketkeeper tried to throw the stumps down, but went past. It will be given as a leg bye. It's an early reprieve for Waxer Sane. They could have been gone without facing a ball, which would have been disastrous for him. Our co-commentator's still not yet appeared. In fact, Callum, who's no shy of a microphone, as we know, is hopping over in his sliders. He'll grab a mic, I'm sure, in a minute. In comes Hanby once again to Waxer Sane. Good length ball. Played on the front foot back to him. And Callum joins me. How are you, Callum?
How are we, mate? Okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. So, how are you feeling? 159 restrict them to a decent tie. We've been reduced to 129 in 15 overs.
I mean, it should be a difficult chase. Let's hope it's not too difficult, but the wicket's got a bit slower.
Is that throughout the day?
Throughout the day, he's gone. Yeah, throughout the day.
It's a lovely shot from Waxer Sane, flicked over the leg side for 4.
I mean, the good thing about the almost reduced game to 15 overs is that you can only really go one way with it. We've all got to go out and teeing off from ball 1, and it's difficult actually to defend when that is the case.
Is that why Conor Craig's gone up the order?
That is why Conor has gone up the order. Yeah, we've had a real reshuffle, hence why I've got my pads on my sliders on. Pads off and sliders on. Big reshuffle.
So you're doing sort of like they do at sort of charity events, reverse order. I'm surprised I didn't see Sam Rippington over.
Pretty much, yeah. What have we got? We've got Tim and Rob are going to go 4 on 5, and Ben's going to go down to 3.
Oh, it's a lovely shot from Waxer Sane. A full ball from Hanby, and it's just punched through cover past the sliding fielder, and it's gone for 4. It's a great start this innings for Cambridgeshire. Sorry, Callum, you were saying?
Yeah, so Ben's dropped down to 3 from opening. We also found the positives from that first innings that we did bat was that the left-hand right-hand combination. That was when we had our best partnerships. So also Conor being a left-hander, and just that mixing up of obviously the angles for the bowlers. That's one of the reasons. But Ben's dropped down to 3, and then obviously we've got Tim, who's going to go 4, another left-hander if Conor gets out, and 5 will be Rob. So no, it's a great start, and like I said, we can only go one way with this. 15 overs of going for it, really. Yeah,
and Ben Coote is just getting warmed up now to bowl. In terms of the league, Danny have informed us that you can't qualify now. Yeah. Is that still the case? Is that definitely the case?
I believe that is the case, yeah. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I probably not impossible, but not mathematically, but very tough.
I think unless we chase these runs down in probably under 10 overs, it's going to be net run rate is always going to affect us.
Well,
we've had a couple. When we've lost heavily. That's been the main issue as well.
Swing and a miss first up. Conor Craig when Ben Coote into bowl. So obviously this game now, assuming you don't qualify, it's a bit of a non-event, but equally, like we were saying to Dan and Matt, it's a game where you're playing Norfolk, I think, in the 50-over competition in a week or so. It's a game to get some runs under your board, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Just Ben Coote coming to bowl, just play down to the ground. Conor Craig, yes, it's just a game really to get into form and try and get some runs on the board for that 50-over competition.
Absolutely is. I mean, there'll be no better feeling for them if they can beat us twice today on our own patch, and we've got to play them next week. And reverse on that, there'll be no better feeling for us to take in a victory, and they'll know that we've beaten them in the last game we played against them. Especially the positive results we had against them last season as well.
It's another lovely shot from Conor Craig. They're proving himself very worthy at the top of order. Ben Coote overpitched that one and slapped through cover for 4. Score moves on to 17 without loss. So yeah, like in terms of mentally as well, like you just said, if you can leave one on them heading into that game against Norfolk, I know it's a 50-over competition, but Dan was telling us that the side is pretty much the same into that 50-over competition, so your white ball side remains very much the same.
Yep. Yeah, so without injuries, the team will pretty much be identical. Eddie Ballard, I think, is back from holiday, so he'll slot in to open the batting, which will only strengthen us. But their team will be pretty much identical as well. So, yeah, if we can, leave some mental scars on some of their players, that'd be good for us.
Yeah, certainly so. And in terms of your own form, speaking to Dan, done pretty well with the ball. Probably would have liked to score a few more runs.
Yeah,
but
missed the straight ball first innings, so a second baller. Never could that. But
chopped
it's
out
one of
the
those.
third man for looking potentially for 2, no, just a single for Conor Craig.
It's one of those. It's 2020 cricket. Some days it's not your day, and then same with the ball as well. I bowled pretty well first game, by my 1 over, but then I bowled second game, and it was completely almost reverse on that. Got taken to the cleaners a little bit by Tom New, who's a good player. So yeah, it's just 2020 cricket's the way it goes, really. Can't take it too seriously.
And speaking to James Williams at the start of the season, he's very keen to do well in the white ball formats this year. Obviously, it hasn't worked out in the T20 group stage. It's very difficult. Only one team qualify for whatever reason. But I guess you'll now be looking at that 50-over competition. Comes in bowls. Looks to be strike on the pad, and Wacker Hussain is gone. An early wicket loss for Cambridgeshire. Wacker Hussain, the man to depart after hitting a couple of lovely boundaries in this opening spell. But Cambridgeshire lose their first wicket, 19 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, the disappointing thing is we've shown up in the second games a lot better than we have in the first games. I think we spoke about it in the midweek show. The first games have really let us down in this competition and put us on the back foot almost. And then we've, when our backs have been up against the wall, we've done really well in the second games. But yeah, I suppose we've got to take the positives. So hopefully moving on into the 50 over stuff, we can get on a roll with that starting next week against Norfolk. But obviously it's a knockout competition, so it's luck of the draw really. I think last year we got the rough end of the stick away at Buckinghamshire on a bit of a strange wicket. But hopefully it's a good cricket wicket. We can go into next week and it'll be a good game of cricket because both two good teams.
Does your mentality change at all? Or is it the white ball, it's usually the same? You want to go hard at the top and try and score as many runs as possible? We had
a few sessions in the winter and we spoke a lot about the white ball formats and how we wanted to play it. So we've got a rough idea of how we want to go. I think it's always crucial to get off to a good start, whether that be not losing wickets and setting the game up. I suppose it depends on conditions a lot of the time. But also, especially...
That's a lovely shot. It's a lovely shot from Conor Craig. Slap through once again. It's clearly his error. Andy Hanby can see the boundary off his first ball of this third over. It's 23 for 1.
So yeah, it's the kind of way we want to go is go hard at the top as well. Obviously, you've got to strike a balance with that. Make sure it's risk and reward. With 2 men out in the outer circle, it's about knowing your areas really.
Yeah, well, Conor Craig certainly knows his areas currently. He's peppered the cover region, and that's a short ball. It's high on the splice of the bat, and it should be caught. It's a complete miscue. Mid-off has come round to take the catch, and it's a second wicket loss for Cambridgeshire. They're 23 for 2 into this third over. Callum just hit high on the bat, really. Just didn't probably quite get through the shot quick enough.
Yeah, it was a good ball, to be fair. He changed up his lengths. Obviously, he's hit through cover well today, Conor. So he banged in there, banged in the hard length, did Hanby. We found that that's effective with the left-hander because he brings the ball back into the right-hander. Actually, the ball going across both Conor and Tim hit the ball well through the covers. So we felt that they could exploit that, which they have to a certain extent. But a little bit disappointed he's got out there.
Yeah, been in pretty decent nick for Roundel as well as in for Roundel this season. Conor Craig. Tim Moses comes to the crease, top scorer in the first match, 34, on debut. And you're probably thinking I got him with pads on soon, aren't you?
Yes, I think I've just got the call from James Williams, so I think he wants me to go in at number 7. So I'll be having to make a move after the next wicket.
It's probably the lowest you've ever batted, is it?
For Cambridgeshire, yeah. No, it's good. It's good that we got the flexibility to mix up the batting order. Like I said, you can't take it too much to heart when you go down the order. Got to do what's best for the team, and getting off to a fly is what we're looking to do here. So there's better players. I know there's players more equipped for that than myself.
Yeah, Ben Seabrook just sort of was trying to come forward. They got stuck in the crease a bit, seeing, but went straight through to the keeper, kept low as well.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too pace, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure what it's looked like from here, but out there, it's been a bit. The ball hasn't really gone up; it's gone down off the wicket, keeping a little bit low. It's been difficult to drive on.
It just seems to be sticking a bit as well. So players often get through their shot a bit, and
especially early on, because of the way the wicket looked as well, it looked like it was going to be flat, and be pretty.
He's
pretty
gone.
through pace.
Ben Seabrook gone. It's a nick outside edge and through to the keeper, and Callum is jetting off to get his pads on, and we'll thank him for that stint. But unfortunately, Ben Seabrook has gone. It's 26 for 3. Cambridgeshire collapsing once again. Comes the new batsman, Rob Sayer. He looks to try the impetus back towards Cambridgeshire. Tim Moses at the crease currently, hasn't faced a ball yet. Rob Sayer. Two big men at the crease in terms of size, and big players for Cambridgeshire currently in this game situation with 26 for 3. Again, that similar scenario. Do they steady the ship? Do they kick on once again? Our pro commentators have clearly deserted, completely gone. Can't even see them sitting in the pavilion now. Must just be inside, probably scoffing their faces with the leftover tea, I'd imagine. But yeah, Rob Sayer and Tim Moses at the crease. I believe it was these two who got a decent partnership in the first match in a similar situation. You'd have probably got a decent view of that snick from Ben Seabrook in our camera position. Nicked his outside edge of the bat and through to the keeper. We've got one position behind the sight screen from the cemetery, and where Hanby is bowling now, and in he comes just back of a length, and that's a lovely punch shot for no run though for Cambridgeshire. And obviously we've got a camera on top of our broadcasting van here as well, from a side angle, tracing the ball as far as it can. So Rob Sayer facing still, Hanby in, just back of a length again, similar punch, covered this time by Norfolk man coming round from cover to cover the mid-off. No run once again, and that completes the third over, sorry. Score 26 for 3. Cambridgeshire's target is 129 from their 15 overs. They played some lovely shots early on, Connor Craig and Waqar Hussain, but they've lost 3 quick wickets, very quick wickets, once again. So bowling now from the New Road end. It's Ben Coote still, I believe. You can see him at the right of your picture. Tim Moses just getting into the groove at this end. The spectators in the background too. The groundsman sort of leaning against the covers in that top corner. Yeah, just one fielder, or a couple of fielders out on the leg side, still in this power play. Of course, short left ball through to point from Tim Moses, no run. One sweeping on the offside, and one down at third bad as well. If you have some pros, yeah. It's a lovely shot from Tim Moses. A foolish ball on the up, and it's gone for 4. Lovely shot. You can see in our camera there, through cover. A good length ball turned to a full one because of such height he has. He really is a tall man. Ben Coote in and bowls. Flicked off his pads and it's coming towards us down here at fine leg. Lovely shot off his pads and it's 4 runs for Cambridgeshire. Much needed boundary, release of pressure. It's back-to-back boundaries now. As the bus goes by on the top of your picture. A vegan bus pointed out by Tony from some sandwich company. I'm sure you can work out which one. Tim Moses on strike. Back-to-back boundaries for him. Showed his class with the bat in the first innings, 34. In comes Ben Coote again. 8 not out. Oh, and that's took a lift off the surface and flew past the fielder, I think, at backward point. And it's gone for 4. It was going straight into the hands of the fielder at backward point. Must have been a bobble or a bump and flew past his head. It's gone for 4. It's 12 runs now in this over for Tim Moses off the bowling of Ben Coote. Incredibly signed as a bowler, opening bowler for Sawston and Abraham this campaign as they look to surge to the Whitings and Partners Division 1 title. But he really has impressed with the bat. And comes Ben Coote again up to his mark. Back in his crease is Moses, and he's gone back in his crease and flicked a full ball off his pads, and it's down fine for 4 once again. 16 runs off the over. Really is impressive stuff from Ben Coote. You can't from Tim Moses, sorry. Not as impressive from Ben Coote. A full ball on his leg stump. He's going to get put away there, and he has done. 16 from this over so far for Tim Moses. 42 for 3 into the 4th over. Target of 129 required. 15 overs. Of course, it was originally off 160 required off 20, but 5 overs reduced because of a slight rain delay. 120 the 9, the target. In comes Coote again. Ooh, on his back foot there. A bit of a swipe from Tim Moses, but he straight through to the keeper, no harm done. It's a very impressive over for him. 42 for 3 the score is off 4 overs. Going at just over 10 and over now. And they require 87 runs to win off the next 11 overs. So very, very doable for Cambridgeshire, but wickets in hand is clearly going to be a problem now after losing those 3 quick ones early on. Yeah, Tony rightly points out it is getting very jolly in the pavilion. Clearly the beers are starting to flow a bit. And rightly so. A big day for Sawston here, hosting their first Cambridgeshire match in a long time. And rightly so. Doesn't the ground look a picture? It's a shame about the weather, but the pitch is played okay. So a bit too paced at times, a bit sticky, but 160 scored on it, 159 scored in the first innings. Cambridge will be looking to score around about 130 this innings, means they'll win the match. Here comes Stolworthy now, bowled well in the first match, and he's bowled 4, and that is a lovely shot. That really is from Rob Sayer. Ooh, and that's into the cemetery. It's gone for 6. Cars were in danger there. That's flew over the ropes for 6, and I think for his just 3rd ball that was. He had 2 early sighters in the over before, punched lovely off the back foot, straight to a fielder, but that one has been lofted over all the fielders, over all the cars, and into the cemetery for 6. 48 for 3, or 4.1 overs. Off they go to search for the ball once again. It's a lovely shot from Rob Sayer, it really was. Full delivery, over pitched. Probably a bit loose. Stolworthy having not bowled for a while. But nothing loose about the shot. Just got slightly chillier. A breeze picking up. In terms of cloud cover, it looks okay. You start to see a few blue skies, but doesn't look too much chance of any rain. There's a few more planes fly over from Duxford, clearly. 5 in a row. I'm sure someone with much more knowledge than me can tell me what they are and where they're heading. The ball has been recovered. Stolworthy walking back to his mark. The umpires have checked the ball as they have to. Obviously, when the ball goes out of play, I think just for wear and tear reasons, make sure it's not damaged in any way that could advantage the bowlers. In comes Stolworthy once again. First ball hit for 6, second ball slower ball, and it's a thick outside edge. It's gone down to third man, and it will be fielded. Bit of a fumble, but a single taken. Good ball from Stoll. We had a lot of time to think about that ball after being hit for 6. How would he respond after having to chase the ball? But a nice slower ball that got the better of Rob Sayer there. Of course, the left-hander Tim Moses on strike. The sweeper out on the leg side, and again long on is back. Deep long on. Stolworthy comes in again, and there was a cry of hang on, hang on, hang on. I believe it's probably the wicketkeeper as he raised his hand as apologised. Stolworthy has to go back to his mark. Bowl the ball again. In he comes, take 2. Moses high in his crease, full ball, hit high in the air, and it might just evade the fielder, it does, and it's probably going to spin away. Is it going to go for 4? Yes, it has. A miscue from Moses, slower ball from Stolworthy again, trying to really tempt the batsman to come forward, and he did do. And sort of a bit of a slice from Tim Moses. He'll claim he opened the face of the bat, gone past the fielder though. Out of his reach, diving reach, just trickled away for 4. Another boundary, 55 for 3. To these first 3 balls of the over. Stolworthy, and again, quick one that time. Yorker, well bowled. Blocked by Tim Moses. No run scored. See from our camera angle. Rob Sayer slightly blocking Tim Moses. Stolworthy's in and bowled. Might have been off the pad into the leg side, and they take a single. Will it be signal leg bias? It looks as though it will be from the umpire. It's another run on to the score, not to the batsman or against the bowler though. Rob Sayer back on strike, the right-hander, as the field switches round once again. They've got a sweeper on the offside, and they're keeping long off back on the rope. In comes Stolworthy now, slower ball again, and that's 4, and that's heading towards our way. It's clear of us though, cow corner, and it has gone for 6. A lovely shot. A clean hit down towards us, just to the left of us at cow corner. Tony just sprung up to catch it, but didn't need to in the end. And Cambridgeshire really putting the pressure back on now. They could have easily dug in there, had to rebuild, hit a few singles, but I guess the fact they need to chase this 129 or 15 overs dictates how they're going to play, and it's very aggressive at the minute. An expensive over from Brett Stolworthy. 2 6s and a 4 in it. The score is 60 for 3 off 5 overs. No worries about the run rate whatsoever. It's just about those wickets in hand, just the 3 lost so far.
Just try and find me a friend.
Yeah.
They'll be out.
That's fine. Cheers and cheers from the pavilion.
Cambridge 105 Radio, T20 Cricket. Cambridgeshire versus Norfolk. Live from Spicer Sports Field in Sawston.
Yes, so we're live here at Sawston for Cambridgeshire against Norfolk. The second T20 match. The first match was live on Cambridge 105 Radio from 10 until 2 p.m. and we switched over to Flavour. The second match is live on our YouTube page. Spinner has come on to bowl now. I think it's Ashley Watson, the skipper. And he bowls to Tim Moses, who slaps it to backward point for no run. In comes Ashley Watson again, looking to hand the momentum back towards this side. I think it's probably slightly shifted towards Cambridgeshire with those flurry of boundaries and hit down the ground towards long off for a single past the diving Ashley Watson. Rob Sayer, the right-handed batsman, facing now. Tim Moses up the other end. And Ashley Watson, the bowler, ready to come in. Change of field. Still not sure what the exact rules are of the power play. Obviously, we've reduced to 15 overs, but a shorter ball this time from Watson. Rob Sayer hits directly straight back to him. It looks as though, with 3 men outside, or more than that, 5 men outside the ring, and the power play restrictions have been lifted. Watson in again. Shorter ball pulled this time from Rob Sayer into the leg side, just for a single. Moses now back on strike. Another change in field, sprinting across the pitch. Ashley Watson comes in once again to Moses. A quicker delivery, flatter hit straight back to him by Moses. They've got a fielder sweeping on the offside. And then 3 fielders on the leg side as well. 1 at long on and 2 sweeping on this boundary towards us. In comes Watson again. And straight back once again from Moses at Watson. That's the end of the over. 62 for 3. Of 6, a very, very tidy over from Ashley Watson, the skipper. Just what his side needed. They are to wrestle back the points here. Now, will Brett Stolworthy continue? An expensive over for him last, with a couple of 6s and a 4 being hit off it. I do fear if he does get kept on, we might be in danger of being hit for the first time today. However, it doesn't look like he has. The van is being saved, or have I jinxed it? On a new bowler comes on. You can see marking up his run-up in the picture. Switch just for like 5 seconds. Yeah, just looking at the field, you've got a man sweeping on that offside, and then fielders 2 sweeping on this leg side boundary, a man on the 45 as well on the leg side, and long on and long off back as well. Mid on and mid off back, sorry, so they are long on and long off. Now as he comes into bowl, short ball slapped by Rob Sayer towards this sweeping fielder on this hand side, and it's going to be tight. Oh, and it's a fumble, and I think Tim Moses would have been short there had he collected it properly and possibly ran him out. A brilliant angle shown by our cameras there. That's perfect to see that run-out chance. But it was a fumble. And he comes again, bowls. Just short, slapped again down the ground from Robson. Just for no run. Once again, in comes the bowler, bowls. Slap this way, Rob Sayer, and it's going to go for 4. That split the field is perfect. It's a lovely shot from Rob Sayer, it really is. 68 for 3 now. Rob Sayer showing some intent for Cambridgeshire. How will the bowler respond? In he comes. Quicker delivery, darted in short again. Pulled, sweeping on this leg side just for a single. Cambridgeshire 69 for 3. Into the 7th over now. Tim Moses on strike as that single was taken the last ball. Sweeping fielder near us comes up into the circle. In comes the ball now over the wicket to the left-hander. As you can see, there is that fielder come up inside the circle. Mid on and mid off are still back onto the rope. And there's still a sweeper on the leg side and 1 on the offside. 2 on the leg side as well. 1's gone out now. And bowled into Moses, just hit to the fielder at mid-wicket for no run. And the score is still 69 for 3 from 7 overs. And I believe that changes. That brings about a change in the commentary box or on the commentary table. And I'll hand over to Julian Clover now to commence the end of this last match today.
Certainly looks like Moses and Sayer are beginning to motor along here. They've pulled back every once in a while, but we've seen a flurry of boundaries over the last little while. Hopefully that will continue as Cambridgeshire continue their target of going up to 129. The target set for them over 15 overs, and this Duckworth Lewis, as that one goes for 6. Hit right over there, and another excellent addition to the score. That's Cambridge 105 radio coverage of this second T20 game today from Sawston, Cambridgeshire versus Norfolk. After the 7th over, Cambridgeshire 75 for 3. In comes the bowler. And that's just hit back over there by Sayer on that one. They're 2 tall teams, of course. Tiny Tim, who's batting at the other end, he is of quite a height, and clearly at 6'9", I think we said, one of the tallest in the team, and he bats there, sweeps it across. It's probably going to be cut off by 2 fielders. 1 or 2 fielders throws it back, and they take a couple of runs. The score moves on to 78 for 3. In we come again, and it hits it, and that looks like it's going to run away to the boundary as well. So another 4 added to the score there. Well done on that to Tiny Tim Moses for getting that one over the line. Now, these two certainly have quite some power behind them, which can add to the score.
Mark Smith.
I'm joined by Mark Smith now. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon. What a day for it.
It's not bad, is it? Oh, my goodness, there's another one which has gone right out. I thought I was going to be for a 6. It bounced and thrown back by the fielder there. I don't think they managed to catch a run on that. But all of a sudden, these two have something of an impetus behind them and actually getting things moving and hopefully getting Cambridge towards that Duckworth Lewis target of 129.
It's what Tim does, though. He does it well. Middle orders.
Now, what happened there? Bails were removed. There is an appeal, but there's nothing going on there. Umpires aren't particularly interested in that whatsoever. It's strange, you get so used to seeing TV replays.
You do, yeah. You're waiting for it. You're waiting for it.
You kind of,
it's not happening.
I kind of want to look at our screen here, and well, it's kind of better than the way the BBC used to cover the old Sunday League, but have the advantage of having more than one camera, which is what they had back in the day. So how do you see it from here? The change is almost as at the moment that they were about to go out, that we got the rain, which lost them 5 overs, and I guess that must do a little bit to the mindset.
Oh yeah, they've got to play positive, haven't they?
There we go again. That's a positive shot if ever there was one. Bounced a couple of times, but certainly the intention there. Just the one scored.
The big shots are waiting, aren't they? It's going to come.
But I was saying earlier, it feels to me almost as if it's like a different day between this morning
it's changed,
and this afternoon.
Yeah, conditions have changed.
There we go, another shot. Not going to make it to the boundary, but there's another welcome run. And I guess if they can just do ones, maybe the occasional 2, and get a boundary per over, and they're on their way.
That's what they need,
target, aren't they?
Yeah.
But no, the terms with everything has changed in terms of the batting order. Obviously, reversed from this morning. Another shot there that's going to get them 1 run.
batting order has changed, the atmospherics have changed as well, and that all of those things just makes it feel like we've come back tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much. It feels like that, doesn't it? It's sort of different game, really.
Well, precisely. Here we go again, and
shot.
An attempt by the bowler to grab that. I don't think he was ever in with a chance.
No.
And it rolls back towards the sight screen and towards the cemetery, and then ball finds its way back with the bowler again.
I mean, the key is to turn these 1s to 2s, really, or to boundaries, really.
There doesn't seem to be many 2s, actually. It's either seem to be a 1 or a boundary.
It is, isn't it? I mean, it's a quick outfield.
And this one, by the looks of things, is going to be a 1. The rain doesn't seem to have done anything in terms of pace compared to what we had been seeing prior to it coming down.
I think there's a big shot coming. There's a big shot coming, isn't there?
Well, it's quite a shock when we got our first 6, really.
Yeah, I know.
There we go.
Here we go.
This could be 1. Is it off for a catch? I don't think so. It bounces, caught on the bounce, and quickly thrown back. And Sayo, I think it was, gets another run. See, I thought I had this sussed because Tim Moses is so tall, but it's not as if Sayer is short against him.
No.
So when you look up quickly,
yeah, I know. I mean, Sayers must be what, 6'2", 6'3". He's a big lad as well.
Well, no, he's taller than I am at 5'8". So
yeah.
In heels.
Yeah. It's just Tim, and he makes everyone look small.
No, absolutely.
I mean, he's batting well. He's done well in both innings. No, he's anchored the innings in both.
Is this the sort of role he likes?
This is what he does. This is what he does. I mean, he plays his shots. His technique's spot on. I mean, he never looks like he's going to get out.
Another chance there.
Here we go. That's it. That's the thought.
There we go. That's one. That will do nicely. So that's another one. Takes us up to, I don't know if the score's changed over yet, but 89 for 3 after 93 for 3. A correction after 9 overs, rattling along towards 129 as the target required here off of 15 overs now.
This is a big over, a very big over. We've got to try and push these to 2s, really.
We've had a couple of overs which have done this, and then the next over, the pace was taken right off, and it turned quite quiet after that, and then it all started up again. Here we go, bowling in, and that's being driven back down towards the boundary on the new road. So how long have you been associated with the club here yourself?
So I've been playing here for the 1s, I think it was 15, so it's been 10 years now.
Right.
I've always played, I played village cricket for Hardwick.
Ended up thwacked across to, and just cut off there by the fielder before he managed to go over to the boundary, just the 1 run off of that. So at Hardwick as well?
Yeah, age groups at Hardwick.
Right.
And then as soon as the adult cricket came involved, I came straight over here because my older brother played here. So I moved over here. And then generations, me and my 2 other brothers have all played here, really.
Because there is a sort of, my nephew who's just 6. I think he might actually be at Hardwick. He goes to with the All Stars, is it called?
All Stars, yeah.
For the little ones. That's quite a good programme, which is able to get the youngsters.
Yeah, that's what you need, isn't it? Because
was that the sort of thing that you came up through originally, or slightly different?
No, it's more my old man sort of encouraged us to play, but I think.
Right, ball scooting across now. I think it's going to be cut off. Couple of sweeping fielders. Balls returned, and I think it adds another 1 to the score. So 97 for 3.
But I think for junior cricket and all that, I think that's the thing you need to promote. Is sort of get them involved in that sort of cricket. Because otherwise you're losing numbers, I think.
Because that is the difficulty, isn't it? Sky have done a great job covering cricket at all levels over the past few years. But it does put the shutters up and prevent the number of people who can see it. I never quite understand why there's always protests that there's no Test matches seen live on British television anymore, when there's never been a single live Premier League game in the 30 or so years of that football competition.
No.
But I guess football is all around us, and cricket does need a push in order to get it going.
Yeah, because I think otherwise it will die out.
There, no run. And that is a danger, and I wonder. Well, the game is changing. We know that when the new TV rights deal clicks in for the new competition, of the 100 there's going to be, and that's a massive,
shot from
great big
Tim,
shot over there.
Yep.
And is that another one? Which
That's
side
in
of
the
the hedge
road,
has that
into
gone?
the road. Good shot from Tim.
Another great shot. That's adding the score, and I think that would have probably clicked over to 103 for 3 now after 10 overs. So the idea of getting, even if it's not a test match, if we're getting, I guess, arguably a game like this with some of the top players in the country being seen on.
Yeah.
I don't think the BBC have said which channel it's going to be on, but it'd be nice if a few made it onto BBC one evening.
I think that's what it needs. I think it's just sort of getting the sport out there and showing people what it's about, really.
And recognising the stars. You know, if I'm I don't know, if it's a couple of new players start and for whatever reason I'm only listening to radio commentary for the first couple of tests, then, you know, it's like, who are these people?
Yeah.
That's a real problem. Just hit back there, and there's no run. 103 for 3 off 10 overs. So we're looking for 26 more runs to get now. Another ball in, and that's just driven back to the bowler. You see what I mean? This what's happening. If we had that big over, there was, I think, a 6 and a 4 involved, and now all of a sudden they've come in and the pace is taken right off again.
Yeah, there's a big shot coming, isn't there? I think. Here it goes.
No, that's straight down the ground. Is it going to make it in time? No, oh, yes, just cut off in front of the side screen there and thrown back. So that's an attempt on your big shot. I didn't quite make that across.
I think it was a bit full, really, to get underneath it, to get over the boundary.
Here we come again, bowling from the cemetery, and that's hit back. Attempt to catch, but that doesn't quite happen, and there's no run. So there is this thing, isn't there, of needing players of all ages, not just, you know, 6-year-olds the age of my nephew, but all the way up to yourself and your
15,
colleagues
16,
here. The means to be able to easily see live cricket. I know you can, you know, use YouTube and all sorts of things to study the shots later on, but there's nothing like the moment for being able to see something.
No, it's a tough one. I think they need to promote it more in schools. I think. I came from Common Village College. We never played cricket once, growing up in PE.
And it is like that, isn't it?
It's all football and rugby. And I think they need to target schools more and push cricket through schools and age groups and encourage them to play other schools in cricket. And they might get more people interested. I don't know. I've never played cricket at school since I've grown up. And it's a shame, really. And
only because of your father cajoling you into
cricket. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I wish I could play cricket like I could do football. You never know.
Family business.
Yeah.
Somebody to business. Moses and Sayer doing the business here. That's a shot. Got a bit of a thwack really for no run on that, but pretty good. Takes the score up once more. 104 for 3 now after 10, so a little over 4 overs left to play here at Sawston. It's live coverage of this T20 game, the second one today at Sawston between Cambridgeshire and Norfolk. Earlier on, Norfolk were first to bat on this match, a revised target. The rain came down just before we were going to start, the revised target of 129. Another one in the air there for Sayer, isn't it? We hit that one.
That's 4 runs.
Four runs, off it goes. You saw the two fielders just passing by each other as if they're going in two directions in a relay race.
A little collide happening there.
I don't think they did. I'm glad they didn't. I wouldn't want the opposing side to suffer any misfortune. 109 for 3 after 11. Ollie, I should say, is heading back to Gwyder Street. Summer Sports Week will be on the air on FM, DAB digital radio and the Radio Player app, of course, from 6 o'clock tonight, as it is all the way through the summer. And there we go again. That's another one up in the air. Is that coming in our direction, down Cow Corner? That is going to get over the rope before the fielder manages to get to it. And we can add another 4 runs to the score here.
A tad full from the bowler there. I think needs to bang it in.
Takes us, I think, to 113 for 3. I don't think the score had clicked over there. I'll click. There we go. 113 for 3. Score at the bottom of the screen if you're watching the YouTube stream here. Here we go. In again, and another big hit behind. That's another 4. and they can afford to do so, can't they? Because
They can,
they've got enough wickets left to. I don't want them to lose a couple, but if that were to happen,
yeah, exactly.
Then our friend Callum, who's been waiting very patiently, no doubt, in the pavilion behind us, but his services.
License to play some shots.
So far, not required. Don't take this the wrong way, Callum, but you just stay right where you are. In comes the bowler again from the New Road end, and that's hit square.
More.
Another 4 bounces in the middle of the hedge and drops down and is thrown back by the fielder.
This is 50.
This is 50 brought up as well. Yeah. That's pretty good. Pretty good going. This is the one thing about the 2020 format. You know, when somebody gets a 50 or even 100, it becomes it's just doubly worth twice as much. Really. Here we are again, another shot straight over the bowler and down straight towards the fielder in front of the sight screen at the New Road end. So 117 for 3, just 12 more required here. The revised Duckworth-Lewis target of 100.
There, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Again, you know, you get these big overs, and then Norfolk have an attempt to pull things back.
That's 2020, though, isn't it? It all changes in the game and over. I mean, a couple of wickets, it's back in the fielding team's favour. A couple of boundaries back in the batting team's favour. It's an interesting game, 2020, and that's what it does.
You see quite often, don't you, within any cricket match, the story within the story of individuals doing their part. But in 2020, it's like a speed reading almost, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Story. I mean, just one over can take a game from you, really.
No, absolutely, as we've seen on many occasions. So bowling now from the cemetery end and back straight over. That is definitely going to be a 4. Oh dear, that was very nearly somebody needing to phone up the windscreen repair company. I think they got away with it. I think it landed just in front.
No.
So make sure there's no glass fragments or anything on it when it comes back. I once watched a game, and I think 3-car windscreens went during the course of the match.
I hope they're insured up here. I think they are. 3 to win.
3 to win now.
3 to win.
Score, 126 for 3. So one hit of the bat from either of these two could then bring the score on to. Of course, I have to get the ball back first. This will be the
might take a while, I think.
the way things are going, and then we'll try and bring you an interview with the winning captain as soon as everything has completed. Tony will dive round to the pavilion to try and catch a word with the winning captain, which could be any moment now. No. And that's it. Straight 6. Over. 6 to end the match.
What a win.
Umpire signalling both arms very quickly in the air, and Cambridgeshire have evened things up here following their defeat by Norfolk. First up, they've taken this second match here, 132 for 3, so exceeding that Duckworth-Lewis score by 3. That's it. The maths never was a particular strong point of mine. But that was pretty good. That was definitely coming back and making clear.
I mean, winning the toss and choosing the bat and then going 2 down in the first over. I think they needed a result here.
Very much so. And the other Cambridgeshire players now are coming out to meet their colleagues from across the way in Norfolk. Will there be much mixing generally? Will the Cambridgeshire players be familiar with some of those on the Norfolk side?
You would have thought so.
Either socially or I'm just wondering, because they'll meet them again in a 50-over game in a week or so's time. So they'll play them from I'm just wondering how many times.
They should play against each other, not in the Prem cricket. They should play against each other quite a bit. I mean, you'd have thought they were all quite familiar over the years, seeing faces.
Now this is a nice touch. Now everybody's shaking each other's hand. Is this something which happens? I can't recall seeing it before. Actually, that's a very nice touch. Each of the players shaking everybody else's hands. The umpires have gathered 3 stumps apiece. And they are now making their way back to the pavilion as well. I'm just wondering, I sent Tony Barnfield into the pavilion to catch a word with the captain. I'm not entirely sure if the captain's not back out on the field shaking the hands as the Cambridgeshire team are now doing with the umpires. He's the guy with the hoodie. He's got sort of black shirt and he's got white hood on top over. Poor thing, it's probably feeling
It's a bit
cold
windy
here,
isn't it? It's a bit windy.
By the looks of things. I don't know, maybe he's on 12th man
duties.
duty today. That's possibly the case.
Maybe.
Right, Tony is ready for us. Hello, Tony.
I am indeed, yes, with Rob Sayer, the Cambridgeshire captain. How did it go for you?
Yeah, it was good. Good to get over the line for the boys. We knew what we needed, so it was pretty plain and simple. We just had to go from ball one, really. So it was nice to go out there and have a bit of fun.
Strange how it was a different game almost from this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've felt quite accustomed to that over the last couple of games. We've lost the first one most weeks and then come back and played some real good cricket in the last game. So 2 games left, so hopefully we can win both of those and push for a flat place in the finals.
That's what you need, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. We need to win both games, so we'll go there expecting to, and fingers crossed things go our way.
Any of your players actually played on this pitch before, do you know?
A couple of them have. I know Callum Guest and Wakas Hussain both play their club cricket here, so coming here we kind of knew what the pitch was like, and it was good to have a bit of inside information.
And it's worked well, hasn't it, the pitch today?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's played really well. It's held up really nicely over both games. Usually they start to break up a little bit when it's club wickets, but no, it's held together nicely, and it proves that with the runs that have been scored today.
And when's your next game?
Next week in a 50-over game against Norfolk.
Okay, good luck for that. Thank you very much indeed, Rob. And back to Julian in a moment, I think.
Yes, thank you, Tony. So we're doing 1,000,001 things here, as is often the case. Well, thank you very much. Tony just making his way back to us here. We're going to wrap up our coverage this afternoon. Thank you very much to our guests, for Tony, for nabbing the captains at just the right moment to hear what they had to say. So let's just finish up on the score. It took Cambridgeshire 12 overs to meet the revised target of 129. They did so, massive 6 at the end in what actually turned out to be very much a captain's innings, I would say, for Rob Sayer, who was speaking to Tony just a few moments ago. So Craig was out for 18 runs, Hussain out for 8. Ben Seabrook, unfortunately, scored a duck, but finishing off things in style, absolutely. Tim Moses on 42 and Captain Rob Sayer on 64. So congratulations to both of those. You enjoyed your little day out at the cricket, Mr. Barnfield?
It's been very pleasant, yes, spotting the number 7 bus every now and then as well, going right past.
I know, it's not quite the Harleyford Road, but perhaps the next best thing on that. So we're going to wrap things up.
Just say spectacular support as ever from our engineering team.
No, absolutely. Rob has been in the van here looking after not just audio but video as well for us this afternoon, so very much appreciated for that. Sports coverage continues on Cambridge 105 Radio, on FM, online and DAB digital radio from 6 o'clock. Ollie is here with Summer Sports Week, and if you could just mark your card for tomorrow, Tim and his Ox Jam Marathon, which is 12 hours of all local and live music. I know that Tony is going to be popping in.
Yes, I should be joining you and Miss Malazzo, I believe.
Miss Malazzo will be on duty as well. We'll see you sometime during the afternoon. I'll be back with Lucy, of course, for Cambridge Breakfast on Tuesday morning. Brian O'Reilly is looking after things tomorrow. For the time being, though, from myself, Julian Clover, and from Ollie Slack and Tony Barnfield, I wish you a very good afternoon.